last thrust set. 5500. 31. Rotate.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm very excited for today's flight. We are finally kicking off the official pre-launch to the South America tour. We're doing a few stops here in Central America. Of course, today is the first leg of that. We're headed down to Cancun, Mexico. I don't know what it is about flying into Cancun. I just love it. Whether it's in real life, you fly down there, everybody's super happy to be going to Cancun. Everyone's on vacation. Everyone's having a good time. And it's just, I don't know, it's a fun airport. It's a really nice airport in real life, too. And I actually have a nice scenery for Microsoft. Got it off of, I believe, MacOSim. I picked that one up, $15 or so. Looks really nice. So I'm excited to see that in Microsoft. We're also rocking a vSprit Airlines today, part of the vSprit VA. If you guys want more information on, maybe you just want to get into a virtual airline, you don't know too much about it, check the link in the description. I got the link to the vSprit website. They are a pretty awesome group of guys. A lot of them are my mods that were around this channel. They branched off and started their own VA, and we're going to support them today. It looks like we even have company following us out here. Now, 606 November Kilo looks like it's going to be headed down to maybe Cancun or somewhere along there with us. But yeah, this is going to be awesome flight. I know Spirit uses IAE engines, the superior engine on the 320, but it is what it is. We got to do what we got to do here. I do have my little Americant over there in the corner. Looks like he might be headed down south somewhere. We'll see. I do have my PlayStation controller hooked up, so we have much better external camera views when we go ahead and enjoy all the juice on the way down there. But let's go ahead and get this thing fired up, ready to go. Mr. Culture Shark, good to see you. Doug Clark. Ooh, I just knocked my camera down. Hopefully I didn't screw up the tiller cam. Good to see you, sir. Jeff L. Counterfeit Livery Unsub. Al W. What's up, man? Salute right back at you, sir. Jones, good to see you. Mr. Music, good to see you as well. Christian Ionscu, good to see you. Mr. Arakbot. Runar, what is going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Congrats on your V1 status achieved with your new V1 status bars. That's awesome. I'm sure you'll enjoy first class, big front seats. We do have a custom cabin on this livery as well, which is pretty sweet. So we'll be taking a nice cabin tour. Douglas Phillips, good to see you, sir. And Cam A321, I saw you popped in there at the beginning of the stream. I wonder if you're still here. If you are, always a pleasure to have you on board, sir. Today, a couple things are happening. We're going to have random failures set on high. I'm not going to manually trigger any. We're just going to have them set on high. If we get one, we get one. We'll deal with it. The other thing that we're going to discuss today is the Equi-time point and what does it mean? How do we modify it? I'm going to show you guys some real-world techniques that I use every time I cross the Gulf or any large body of water where you're going to the West Atlantic track route. Anytime you're going to be over a very large area with nowhere to land, the ETP or Equi-time point is a modifiable position within the MCDU, and we're going to go over that today, and hopefully you guys will pick up a few tips and you might be able to learn something from that. So I think I am just about ready to go. Are you guys ready? I think it's time to get this show on the road. My FO is already screwing up. Douglas Phillips, uh-oh. What's going on, Tom? It's good to see you as well. Hello from the Congo, Joseph. Welcome aboard, sir. Welcome aboard. Glad to see you here. We are good to go. That's set up. The only thing I got to say is these external sounds are so loud. You know, they're just super, super loud. I don't know what's going on with that. But we do have an off-block time that I want to get to, so I'm going to do a couple things here. Number one, I'm going to put OBS into performance mode. That'll help me out there. Now, the only problem I have when I put my streaming software into performance mode, I cannot actively monitor the volume levels. So if my voice goes out or the sim goes out, you guys just let me know, or you want something louder or quieter. I'm not able to monitor the activity in performance mode, but I think it does help overall with streaming. So, okay, here we are. We've already synced our flight plan. We have an off-block time in 40 minutes from now. Flight crew gets to the aircraft. Let's go ahead and do our originating receiving flow. FO's doing that. I'm going to come up and do my overhead flow, looking at 25.6 volts or greater. We have that, so we'll go battery 1, battery 2. I guess I can turn the sim up a little bit here while we're not outside. Once those are on, we'll go ahead and just activate external power to the aircraft, since that's what we have here and it is available. So that's going to power up. You'll see these screens go through their power up sequence here. I looked at the ACARS booking from VAMSIS, and it looks like we have almost a full boat. We got 160 something passengers, so it's going to be a little bit longer of a boarding process. We're at the aircraft about 4 minutes late. Typically a 45-minute show time is standard depending on the aircraft, but 45 minutes should be enough to get you on your way. So we're going to get the aircraft powered up and commence the boarding process. Scott says, I'm joining you from a real-world 321 flight at Delta 1362. Scott, that's awesome, man. Well, welcome aboard. Glad you got that streaming service up in the upper flight levels, sir. Glad to have you on board, man. Welcome to the stream. Welcome. All right, so FWC is going off. That's all normal. Doop, doop, doop. If no livestock, why do we have a smoke detection fault? That's interesting. Hopefully that'll go away. Don't tell me we already have a failure. Let's go ahead and clear that out. Let's just make sure we don't have any failures going on here already real quick. Let me go into the configuration. Let me just go into manual failures and navigation. That's normal. Everything else is good. Okay, so now everything's fine. So what we are going to do, like I said, we're going to put failures, random failures into high. We're going to store that as default, all things. There we go. That should be set. Return, flight plan, and all right, that's good. Let's go up to the overhead. Just a hard power up. Sometimes these airplanes get a little salty when you power them up a little too aggressively. So cruise supply is on, ground control on, CVR test. Beautiful. Let's get our ADIRs aligned. Christian, you get it every time? Okay, I just didn't notice it before. Depending on the different mods and stuff that your airline may have, you'll have different boot up cycles and you'll see different things populate. We used to have a running joke, you know, on the Embraer. If you had an ICAS message pop up, you sit there and you look at it, do the procedure and it goes away. Or you sit there, let's see, in the Embraer, you sit there and you look at it and you hope it goes away. In the Airbus, ECAM comes on, and I forget how it was. Never mind. I think I got it backwards. Either way, Airbuses can be temperamental. All right, those are coming online. Off, off, off. Position 1, it'll be my leg to fly today. No smoking will be in the auto position. Emergency exit lights in the arm position. Pack flow, everything looks normal here. External power is on. That looks good. Fuel pumps can remain off. Let's do an engine fire test. Engine fire 2. Phantom 320 has already done the APU, so we can skip that. Over to the right-hand side, I'll split this up here. Cargo heat. We'll just put it in the aft position there. That's fine. Everything else looks good. Out and on. Beautiful. Overhead looks good. Let's do a quick swipe of the center console. We'll go data, aircraft status. We are CFM 56B4. We've got a current nav database. Everything looks good here. We're going to put this on Unicom 122.8. Since we're right here, we'll put 122.8 on there. I'm going to just turn it off so I don't have to listen to it though. Get this out of the way. Everything looks good. Let's take a look at our hydraulics and engines. Oil quantity is good. Hydraulics are good. Pressurization is in auto. Check that. That is idle, off, off, and the parking brake is on. And the FO's MCDU is looking good as well. All right, so that is set. Let me turn down some of these floodlights. Harold Phoenix. Harold Phoenix, thank you so much, man, for the $10 super chat. He says, Fenix A320 has fully acoustic sounds. Simulated, being it has fully built-in cabin muffles the sound from outside, thus reducing the engine sound from cabin view. Love your stream, plus real-world lesson. Harold, thank you so much for the $10 super chat, man. I appreciate that. Appreciate your support here on the channel. Yes, I am aware of the fully acoustic sound simulation. However, I wish they would have at least given us an option to make it a little bit more accessible to adjust the levels, I should say. You know, I want to be able to change engine levels and outside levels just from a content creation perspective. You know, if your cabin is quiet and you jump to the outside view, you just blasted everybody's eardrums. So I just wish they gave us an option, but nonetheless, it is still pretty good. But thank you, man, for your support. Dimitri, what is going on? You made this one. Man, it's early for you over there. Welcome to the stream, sir. Glad to have you on board. All right. Let's go ahead and start the boarding process. We're going to do real time, 27 minutes, 162 people. We need 17,000 pounds of fuel. That looks good. Let's go ahead and initialize then our MCDU from the ATSU. So we're going to go to ATSU program, AOC, and flight init. Send it. Fubar, welcome to the stream, sir. The cabin sounds are too muffled. Sounds like they soundproofed it. I don't know any carriers who do that. Yeah, it's, you know, I think there is probably an option on how much baffling you have, or how, you know, I don't know. Maybe there is, maybe there's not. But it is very muffled in the cabin. But also the CFMs are a little bit quieter, I think, too. I'm being completely honest. Not by much, but... All right, we're actually a different flight number since we are vSprit. We're going to be Spirit Wings 893. Let me just confirm that is the correct... Oh, that's wrong. Spirit Wings 982. I was way off. 982 is our call sign today. That's going to be hard to remember. Cost index of 75. Cruise flight level is... 340. Wait. Yeah, 340. That looks good. IRS init, align, and confirm. Done. Spirit just started a service to Salt Lake City today. Nice. Awesome, man. Good old Salt Lake City. All right, coming off of Fort Lauderdale, I'm going to plan on 10 right just because it's we might actually get 10 left. I'm trying to think. I'm going to set up for 10 right because it's a shorter taxi. 10 right, Glads to out to a Lowell's transition. My graphic settings are set to Ultra, the Ultra preset, and I've turned down just a few things like LOD or something. The Q8 pilot video is what I followed essentially, but most everything is on Ultra. Chris Stuper, welcome to Private Pilot, sir. What's up, man? Team Vodka, you did 10 left. We'll see what we got. We'll see what it says here. 10 right, 10 left. We're going south anyway, so. All right, out to Elric. Wait a second. Manual leg. Glads to... Wait, what? Okay, that's the departure. Then we hit Gator, Yankee 196. Upper Bravo 879 to NOSAT for the NOSAT 1 Bravo. Cancun, we're going to land. They typically land on 12 left. ILS DME number 4. 12 left. You might have to change that on the NOSAT 1 Bravo. Insert that. We're probably going to have to adjust that later on, but that looks good. I'm going to leave that. Well, let's take a look at that disco, shall we? What do we got going on here? I have turned off spatial towns. I have turned off all the sounds, all of it. I did it in both spots, and it's still not as good as it could be. Trust me, I have gone through the sounds relentlessly, and it's still not as good as it could be. That is for sure. All right, so it's just a vector. Oh, you know what? We probably will get 10 left the way I'm looking at that departure. So we're going to do 10 left because that's the way it's set up. We'll just do 10 left. We might need the extra runway anyway. So 10 left. We'll just reset it here on the Glads 2 because this departure has us turning northbound to stay away from Miami. So you probably would get 10 left even in real life. All right, so there we go. 10 left, Glads 2. Manual Gator all the way out. Lowell's, we're going to connect that after Lowell's. Yankee 196 to Kanoa. So we'll go ahead and clear that disco out right there. Insert that. Beautiful. And NOSAT 1 Bravo into the ILS DME4 12 left. Is there a way to do an offset route in the McDo Douglas Phillips? Remind me when we get to cruise, because we're going to go over a lot of box stuff when we get to cruise. We're going to look at ATP modification, and I will also look into offset. So please remind me when we get to cruise, sir. Great question. I want to find out for myself if it is indeed modeled. So let's do our secondary flight plan real quick. We'll just do a copy, or we'll just do Fort Lauderdale. Oops. Fort Lauderdale is set. Secondary arrival. If we pop one, we're coming back to 10 left. Secondary perf data. Next to 0 for 0 on the wind. Temperature is 29. QNH is 29.9 or 1. Close enough. Don't know what it is. Not going to look it up. DA 200 on the radio. That works for me. Secondary is set. Nothing to hard tune. A NIT B. We're going to leave that there because we are waiting to get our fuel. Now let's go ahead and pull out our actual ATIS. Let's go Atsu. And let's get a weather. I do not lock my FPS. No, I do not. Let's see what we get. Latest and greatest weather request here as we start to board up. Probably going to get hot on this airplane here. Using numbers instead of letters to designate different ILS approaches to the same runway seems like it could get confusing. It could, but yeah, that's what they do in Cancun for sure. Yeah, the fly-by-wire has a sound slider. I love that sound slider. That's what we need. That's a good way. That's exactly what we need as a sound slider in the McDo. All right, there's our company message. Let's see what we got here. Return. Receive messages. Weather. 10 miles. 3008 and 29. So 3008 on the altimeter. And I wish there was an option to like not do this dimming. So like you see if you're at the gate, I put this down. Brightens up the screens really nice. I get what they're trying to do with the eye thing, but can I just get a sunglass mod that changes it? That would be cool. 3008 is set once. They're not synced, so I gotta set both. 3008 is set. Constraint mode. That is good. Top altitude, we don't have any ATC on, right? Let me see. No, we don't. So we'll go all the way up to 340. Tony, exactly. Just as it should. The FO's McDo is completely separate from the Captain's McDo, as it should be. 340 set both sides. Looking for waiting on fuel. 17.7. And we had 17.2 and tank 17.2, so that looks good. Let's do a check, make sure it is balanced. It is. Come up top here. Let's get our fuel tank pumps on. Seatbelt sign can now come on. We'll clear that. And I think we also have, yep. So 17.2, we'll put that in the block fuel. 17.2 is set. Did I put an alternate in there? We do. MZBZ. So that is good. 17.2 in the block fuel. We have another message. I believe this is our prelim, which it is. Everything looks good. We'll accept that. Remember, we don't really need to worry about numbers, so we're going to set that there. We'll wait for the final when that comes. All right, everything else looks good. We're going to scroll this down to 10. I got to get the backlight on this FCU just a little bit. You can turn off eye adaptation in the user config file. Oh, I hate having to do that. Why do they make us go to the user config file? Just give us an option. That's so FSX. So FSX. But thanks for that. I might actually check it out. All right, so our mass and ballast is pretty much done. We're still boarding passengers. That is good. Let me just make sure we are set here. Did it save my airframe? Yep, sure did. Beautiful. All right. Ground services, they're doing their thing out there. So we can do a couple other things. Let's go to our EFB. Press Alt F3 to bring up NVIDIA filters, then add detail filter. It would bring life to the cockpit. I'll try it some other time, man. I don't really like testing filters and stuff on stream. It's just a good way to screw up a stream. But I will take a look into that in the future. I mean, I really don't, I think everything is great the way it runs, other than that eye adaptation. I like the lighting. I don't want to change anything. I just don't want that eye adaptation on there all the time. Even though it's realistic. Even though it's realistic. All right, here we go. Fort Lauderdale off 10-9. Going to 10 left. So probably do something like Tango 8, November, Fox, Lima, Charlie. We'll figure it out. We'll get down there. There's no ATC online, so we should be good. But we're going to 10 left. 9,000 feet available. That's good. A little bit longer runway anyway. The departure is the Glads, or I guess it's Glades, to RNAV. We'll pin that. Pretty simple left turns at or above 4,000. After Elric, we're going to go direct to Gator. We'll leave the disco in there for now, so that is set. I guess I'll just put the ground charts back up. We'll just have that in the standby there. Beautiful. Takeoff perf. There's one taking off at 10 right now. Let's take a look. Oh, wow, look at all the Spirits loading in here. We got a lot of Spirit aircraft boarding up here. This is the cool thing about these yellow liveries, is when you ever fly into Lauderdale, if you land on 10 right, or even if the, what is it, the other way, the other going westbound, you can see all of these Spirit aircraft here on this side of the terminal. It's just, it is a, it looks like a beehive. It is very unique, very unique. I used that NVIDIA filter and it erased my save one for some reason. Interesting. Another reason why I don't like messing around with filters and stuff on stream. Shaq, ladies and gentlemen, PSA from the flight attendant. 300 watching, please tap. 200 before pushback or we stay at the gate. Oh, wouldn't that be something? Have to, we'll hold the chat hostage until we get 200 likes. That's funny. Thank you, Shaq. Welcome aboard, man. Fort Lauderdale, 10 left, dry runway surface, optimum flaps. We are going to Toga takeoff, absolutely. We do have to single engine taxi for our vSprit SOP, so we'll keep that in mind. Anti-ice off, packs on if we can do it. We'll do a prelim run here, but remember, I'm not going to put it in the box. Why create extra work for yourself? This is just for fun purposes here. Let's go ahead and send it off, see what we got. I do too, Blue Bear. The parking here next to 10 right is awesome. And the... you know, the terminal is really nice in real life, too. Those G-gates, the new G-gates now. 10 left, 25, 46, 46. Flaps 1 looks like we're going to be using, so that is awesome. We got a prelim done. I'm not going to load it in the box. We'll go back to our mass and balance. Let's go ahead and we'll just simulate that the cargo is pretty much done. And how are we looking for departure time? So 45. So at 35, we could push about another 4 minutes before we can disconnect the and get the APU running. How are we looking for air conditioning, though? We want to make sure our passengers are comfortable. 22C. What is that? It's a little toasty back there. It is a little bit toasty back there. We'll let it run for 4 more minutes, and then we'll get the APU fired up. Wait, was that saying Toga was required? Yes, I made it a Toga requirement. Forced Toga. It's what we do here on the channel, man. Team Vodka, you're doing JetBlue. Let me go see. What you got here. So what we can do is, since we do have a new drone cam control, let me go ahead and just pop into the external cam real quick, just so you guys can see this. Turn my drone speed up right about there, and yeah. So here we go. I love these gates over here. These are awesome. This is such a nice scenery from Latin VFR. They did a hell of a job. You could see another Spirit, American, a lot of Spirits out here. Got two more down on this side. Absolutely love it. This is AIG model matching too, by the way. AIG model matching. Love the term. This is where the Emirates, Emirates used to send, what, a 777 here, I think? They used to park right here. I believe it was G14. I used to see them. But that's looking good. 22 is 72-ish. Okay, they're fine then. Good. Good. It's interesting in real life, in America anyway. Obviously we use imperial units in our aircraft, but the temperature in the cabin is in Fahrenheit, but almost everything else is in Celsius on the ECAM's place except the temperature, which is kind of interesting. But all right, there's JetBlue. That must be Team Vodka. That must be Team Vodka right there. We have any traffic out here? Nobody's coming in yet. We got ships on the horizon. Hilton Fort Lauderdale Marinas out there. Beautiful day. I am on VATSIM. Beautiful day for flying. Looks like we've got a maintenance ramp over here. What's going on over here? A couple more spiritual wings sitting over here. This is a really nice job by Latin VFR. I like this one better than their Miami, actually. I really do. This is the, what is it, a Sheltair or something over here? Yep, there's a Sheltair. Been there before. Sheltair sitting over here, FBO. Awesome. But I think they did a really good job. If you look at this slope here, someone asked if this is realistic. This is very realistic to real life. This is exactly what 10 right looks like. It is a slope. When you're taking off, it's kind of fun because it's kind of like going off the carrier. But landing, it looks super short. You can see here they actually modeled this little bridge here. This is where the cars go under, which is kind of cool. Now, obviously, we can't go under there, but just kind of cool to see that. This is exactly what it looks like. I've turned off on this exit many times up here, and as you turn off and you start taxiing down, you're very careful you don't mess up or lose your steering and end up in the dirt, because you come off this edge, it is no bueno. No bueno. Hard Rock Hotel is out there. Yep. You see the Hard Rock Hotel. All right, it looks like we are at 5 prior. That's US1 flight sim guy? Nice, dude. But yeah, so I got the PlayStation controller hooked up. Makes it a little bit better for doing these kind of shots. But you can't do like a flyby view, because when you're in a showcase cam, it doesn't let you move your controls like you're in cockpit cam, unfortunately. But that's fine. We'll go back to the cockpit. Oh, no. What happened? Why are we dark? Looks like ground power dropped out. Okay, and that's why I don't like auto jet bridge. Okay, it looks like we're going to do a APU start on battery power. I thought I turned that off. Ah, that's so frustrating. Oh well. That's all right. It should save everything. I swear I turned auto gate off. That shouldn't even be a feature. Because the captain is the final authority on when they close the door. So they should force you to accept the final. That's right. We get a nice listen to the APU sound here. Nah, Jonathan, we don't need panel state. If I had $1 for every time I lost GPU power in real life, I'd probably have, I don't know, maybe $50. Why is the rudder kicked to the side? Because there is no hydraulic power holding the rudders in their neutral position, and the wind is blowing from the east, I guess, and it's pushing it over to the left. Very realistic. Very realistic. All right, it's going to boot up here. Hopefully it saved everything. Please, Phoenix. Looks like we saved our top altitude. That's good. Jeremy, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Yes, the APU sounds are very good. Very good. Chris Duper, FO said I could disconnect. Never listen to the FO, man. Those FOs. Autogate doesn't pull the GPU, though. I hope we didn't lose... I mean, it pulled it. I mean, it pulled all of it. It closed the doors and everything. Why did it stop boarding? That's weird. Why did it stop boarding? It says loading aircraft. Let's see if we get any more people on board. We'll check back on that. Passenger info list. Jeez. Alright. What's up with that? Load sheet sent to ACARS. Unless we had like 100 no-shows. Oh my gosh, really? And it dropped everything out? Dude, what the... It dropped everything out too. That's weird. Okay. Now we gotta scramble. Cancun curse. It is the Cancun curse already, Sorcerer Dave. What is up with this? What does our company message say? Underload. I don't accept it. I don't know if it does anything. Cancun should be the delay code. I don't know why it reset everything. Reset all. Load aircraft. Oh no, let me just do this. We're just gonna do it this way. In 15 minutes, okay. Mass and balance. We would have been loaded up anyway. Load aircraft. Instant. Done. Alright, boarding is complete. I don't know what happened there. Now we gotta do this real quick. We gotta get off the gate here in the next 5 minutes. NKS, what were we? 982. 982. Cost index, we're going 99 now. 340 is the top altitude. Flight plan. Departure, 10 left. How fast can we program this? Glades 2. Out to Lowell's. There's Shaq. Shaq, you're a transition on this. Out to Lowell's, Cancun, arrival, ILS DME 4, 12 left on the NOSAP, 1 Bravo. There it is. Insert that. Init B. We have 17.2 in the tanks, 17.2 in the tanks. We have our alternates still. We're still waiting on our zero fuel weight CG. I got to do that. Radnav, secondary, init. Oh, man. We're scrambling. Secondary, arrival. Come back to 10 left if we need it. Secondary perf. 200, 040, 30, I don't remember what it was, 3009, close enough. Temperature 29, close enough. And NIT B, we're still waiting on that. Alright, we got 2 minutes till alignment. You'll fly by the resort because I'm chilling on the beach. Waiting for the boys. Awesome, Shaq. Alright, AOC received messages. A load sheet again, I guess. I don't know. Alright, cool. We got our fuel. Accept that. Return. Put you back over here.
Fort Lauderdale.
Aircraft position
Fort Lauderdale
invalid.
traffic. JetBlue 1495. Push and start from Foxtrot 5.
Oh, push and start. Alright, progress page, that's the FOs, boom, boom. Okay, I'm going to put you on flight plan page. We're still waiting on the zero fuel weight, but we already have that, right? So let's go 134.0 and 30.1. 134.0 and 30.1 is set. That's going to do that. Let's get the APU bleed on. Let's go ahead and connect the tug. Connect tug, close the door. Jet bridge will go away now. And now the door is connecting. Weird. Jetway, go away. Okay, this is weird. Okay, they wanted me to do jetway and door at the same time. Okay. 2 minutes to push, 2 minutes to push. Don't start your engine on push or the tug will disconnect. Roger that. Alright, sync final load sheet. Off force toga on. Sync calculate. Alright, 23, 46, 46. Beacon lights coming on. We can push without our speeds. We'll get them to push. Cockpit to ground. Ready to push. Yes, sir. Walk around's complete. All door and hatch closed. Ready for brake release. Copy that. Brakes released. And clear to push straight back. Oh, man. There's somebody right behind us. Stop the push. Stop the push. Stop. 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 Yeah. Alright, at least we're off blocks. We got the clock rolling. That's all that matters. Real world procedure there. Push back 10 feet, you can get the wheel roll, and then you can get the clock started, and we'll just sit here on the tug. That's fine. That was almost a catastrophe. Here we go. Let's go takeoff speeds. Let's see. 23, 46, 46. What are you doing, Ramper? I know, man. 123, 123, 146. Did I read that right? Flaps 1. Toga. What do we got? Yet, oh no, 23, 46, 46. I was going to say. That looked a little bit weird. 23, 46, 46, flaps 1, no toga. That is set. We should be off block by now. We're waiting for the traffic to push or get done pushing from behind us. 340 is still set. 3008 on the altimeter. Let's see what the company had to say.
Fort Lauderdale traffic. Spirit, Golf 2.
Howdy from Houston. Impressively quick workflow that deserves a dono.
Text trading. Thank you so much, man, for the $10 dono. Banking will check right back at you, sir. Appreciate that. Yeah, we got it done. We got off the gate at 35. Let me just check VANSYS. Wow, it's really loud out here. Let me just check VANSYS here to see that it did register. Hopefully it registered, that we pushed back on time. In real life, that would be good to go. Yes, random fares are set to high. We're ready to go. Thank you, Tex. I do appreciate that, man. All right. Y'all starting engines back there or having a party? Cam, what's going on, man? Pull an American and say you need to pull aside. Don't have the numbers yet. Yeah, exactly.
Taxi runway 10 left, flying Tango 8. November, Quebec, Charlie, Charlie 1, Bravo 1, 1 new traffic.
That's a hell of a self-taxi clearance there. Nicely done. Exactly, Cam. Just like the old airways used to do it, man. We're waiting on numbers. But you see this? This is very realistic. You see how the ailerons are drooped because we have no pressure in the hydraulics?
Bearing 52, taxi 210 left gate, Hotel, Juliet, Photo Lauderdale.
This is cool. This is like rush hour push here in Lauderdale. All spiritual wings. I'll never understand the need for everyone to decide to leave at the same exact time. Exactly, evil cookie. Unless they all have the same off block at 45, but, or 35. All right, so he's pushing off 14. I think American is off. Let's go ahead and continue push. You go ahead and continue push back when clear. So I might go back to the that toolbar pushback just to see how we're doing. We won't, if you start engines, he'll disconnect from you. So we're keeping our engines off. Jeff Fabiano used to be a ramper, so we need his voice on the pushback. Exactly, Jeremy. We do. That would be good. I'm going to try to do my own 90 push here myself. And a little bit more. I just don't want to push into anything because I do have failures on, or collisions on.
908, we are pushing off right here. Going down there.
That's good. You can go ahead and stop pushback. That's close enough. We're not on the line, but it's just a rookie ramper down there today. Let's go ahead and cockpit ground pushback is complete. Set brakes. Brakes are set. We'll pressurize that. And here comes our pressure. There it is. Brakes are set. Clear to disconnect. Show me the pin out front. Thanks for the push. We'll talk to you next time. Roger that, Captain. We'll show you the pin out front. Have a good one. They're off. Ignition switch to ignition start.
317 taxiing 10 left via
Turn in 1.
8 November, Quebec, Charlie, Charlie 1, Bravo 1, Fort Lauderdale. And Fort Lauderdale, JetBlue 1495, taxi Tango 5, Charlie, Charlie 1 to 10 left, Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale traffic, bearing 52, departing 10 right, Fort Lauderdale.
Josh Howe, V1 recently finished the 320 type. Congratulations, man. This channel, although not meant for real-world training, was indeed very helpful in the lead-up to training. Thank you, Josh. Well, congratulations, man, on passing your type on the Airbus. Welcome to the Airbus family, man. It is it's a hell of an airplane. The more you fly it, the more you'll appreciate it. So, you got to just give Fifi a chance. You know, sometimes she does weird stuff on you, but it's just Fifi being Fifi. But thank you, man. Thank you. I'm glad that the channel was a help. All right. We got a good start on 1. We're going to do a single engine taxi out. Wait for the Avail light. There it is. We can go here. We'll go into tiller cam. We'll go arm U. And we'll do flaps 1 from right here. That is good. All right, yellow electric pump is on. APU bleed is off. Taxi light will come on. Brakes released. I gotta bring this down or I can't see anything. Lauderdale traffic, Spearwing is 892, taxiing at 10 left behind traffic. Are we 892? I feel like we're not 892. No, we're 982. 982, same thing. What's going on here? Brakes are released, right? Let's roll. Welcome to the Sun Visor Club. Is it going to be an uneventful flight? I don't know. We've already had the power drop out on us. We'll transition to the south line over here. And we're going all the way out to 10 left behind company. Mo Aviation, yeah, I love this side stick, man. And for everybody that's been asking, yes, I still run negative 14% curves. I even did some hand flying earlier today just to double check that I didn't want to change it, and indeed I don't want to change it. I think negative 14 on pitch and roll is right about the sweet spot. But again, that will vary depending on your side stick setup. You know, I can only recommend it for what I have here. Your experiences may vary. I like this 320 with the sharklets, looking super juice over there. We really need sharklets. We're gonna take Tango away. We're gonna follow the other yellow guy. Brake check. We gotta do brake check. Brake check. Pressure 0. We won't do a mini brief yet because we gotta start a second engine. Dimitri, we are on the way, man. I know the cockpit looks a little bit dark, but that's just kind of realistic. Florida, especially Lauderdale, has these super bright taxiways too. If you come out here, there's something about the Florida sun. When it's high in the sky around noon and there is no cloud, the asphalt out here is just so bright. You know, I think they use a lot of mixture of concrete in there, so it's whiter, and it is very, very bright on your eyes. You can see, you know, I would love to have a sunglass mod where you just put sunglasses on and then your whole cockpit looks like this. That would be kind of cool, but typically won't taxi with the sun visor down unless I'm right into the sun or the sun is sitting on the horizon. Sunglasses do just fine. But Santiago, with new SOP, should I call pressure 0? Yep, you do a pressure 0 after departure. Man, look at the traffic we have going out here today. We got 3 spiritual wings out there. We got Spirit behind us. This is a vSprit event for sure. Cam, exactly. Yeah, Tony, you're exactly right. Sky Harbor is another one, same way. Who else has bright concrete? I think Miami has bright concrete. But there's just a few airports where it's... I don't know what the mixture is, but it's just excessively bright when you don't have sunglasses. Azobo showed off the ATR. You interested in that bird? I'm definitely interested in an ATR. If it's from Azobo, though, I really... Nah. I've never been interested in default airplanes, and I don't think I ever will be. Now, if someone is working with Azobo, like Milviz or someone, which I thought they might have been, then yeah, absolutely. But default airplanes are default airplanes. I don't have sims. I don't spend the money and the investment in a simulator if I'm going to fly a default airplane, you know? It's just like an XP event. Exactly. Speaking of XP72 and Blue Games, guys, tonight I'm honored to be invited back to the Blue Experience podcast. We're going to be talking Phoenix. We're going to be talking Airbus. We're going to be talking flight sim, the future of flight sim. That'll be on the Blue Experience podcast tonight. I believe it is at 6 Eastern, and it'll be multi-streamed on the Blue Games channel and also on XP72's channel. So it's a good time to hang out with us. I love talking to those guys. They're awesome, great content creators, and really enjoy their podcast. Oh, look at that American taking off. Oh, man, we got to start an engine, but that's nice. All right, we need to start engine 2, so let's go. Yellow electric pump is off. APU bleed is on. And we'll start the turn here. And ignition switch to ignition start. Wait for the pressure to build. You can see it's at 0 down here. I know it's hard for you to see. There's our pressure, and we'll go ahead and turn 2. Engine 2 is now turning. Now, when you have that APU bleed off and you go to start the second engine, you really got to wait a couple seconds for that bleed pressure to build up before you start 2, or else you'll get a start fault. And I've seen it before. Is performance bad with the Phoenix? Seems like everyone has significantly lower frames. It is harder on your system, but if you set it up right, you'll be fine. It's not unflyable by any means. Not unflyable, but you do have to make sure your settings are correctly set up, for lack of better words. Have I tried the PMDG 737? Yes, and I love it. I flew it for about a week. Min bleed pressure depend about 28 psi. I believe below 28 psi it'll turn amber. After above 28 psi it'll be green, but with an APU bleed you'll be fine. Doing a cross bleed is when you really want to monitor that, or if you're doing a cart start, a Huffer cart start. We did that 2 streams ago. If you really want to see a manual engine start without the FADEC protections and with a ground air cart, check out the stream I did. It's called Stress Testing the Fenix 320. I don't know what I did in that stream, but it definitely hit the YouTube algorithm. The views on it just keep going up, so check it out. I did a hydraulic failure during that stream, and I also did the manual engine start with ground air, so a lot of you guys enjoyed watching that. All right, so we got our engine 2 started. We'll start the clock. Did we get an avail light? I never saw it. I think we did, yeah. So we'll go back to normal. That is set. Everything else is set up top. We'll go ahead and kill the APU bleed. We'll kill that. A lot of bananas at Lauderdale. Yes, sir. Yeah, flown into San Francisco many times, Mr. Pulse. Looks like that blueberry is lining up.
Lauderdale, JetBlue 1495 departing 10 left, late departure for Lauderdale.
How would you turn the engines with the proper tailwind?
Traffic going
What do you mean by that?
On runway 10 left for Lauderdale.
All right, let's do a flight control check. Oh, why is that on there? There we go. Full up, full down, and neutral, full left, full right, neutral. Oh, let's watch Vodka go by the window view here. There goes another JetBlue 320. Nice rotation, a little bit of a tail strike. Got those fancy thrust levers over there. All right, that's done. Auto brakes max. Takeoff config is checked. Radar PWS is on. TCAS code set 2000 TARA. Required fuel for takeoff is 16.5, 17 on board. Engine mode selector, normal bleeds and packs are set. Before takeoff checklist is complete. Are you guys ready? Excellent. I heard if you've got a big crosswind or tailwind coming from behind your engine start, it would be rather hard for them to spool up unless that's not true. Garrick said it depends on the engine. Each engine has a different limitation on tailwind for engine start. That is true though. If you have a strong tailwind, you could do a manual engine start. And that's what I did in the other stream because we had a 40-knot wind right up the tailpipe. So you have to make sure you have a positive N1 instead of a negative N1 with a tailwind. But most commercial jet engines, it's a pretty high. It's got to be pretty stiff wind. Let's watch this guy get out of here. See, I hate how quiet it is in the cabin, and you go outside and it just blasts your ears. There goes a 321. Nice. $321. Have you found anything wrongly modeled system-wise in the Fenix? Paul Parker, I mean, I've found some little things, you know, like the panel state when you do a cold and dark. It starts with the flight directors on. They should start off because you can't arm the flight directors if the aircraft is not aligned. And it's simulated properly, except, hey, what's going on? Flight attendant showed up. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Ooh, I got coffee delivered here. Let me get my tray table out. Hold on. We got to stow it for takeoff, but let me put my coffee right here on the tray table. Good deal. I forget what I was saying. Oh yeah, the flight directors. A couple other little things with. Well, what did we find the other day? I found something that was weird. Oh, on an arrival, if you change the runway, it won't change the transition, which theoretically isn't wrong. It's just a very old software load. What's going on here? Why can't I stow my tray table? There we go. Dimitri, pitch and roll for me is minus 14%. All right, so I'm rocking the minus 14% pitch and roll. That's on this stick here, and I don't have any dead zone at all. I think I have like 1% dead zone. The reason you want to be careful with the dead zone, if you can get away with not having a dead zone, is if you put a dead zone in there, when you move the stick and then you finally get past your dead zone, it's going to jump to that new input value. So it's not going to be 1. It's going to be like, it'll jump to 5 or whatever it may be. So be careful with dead zones. If you cannot use a dead zone, I highly recommend not using any, because you'll get that kind of a jumping moment when you're moving the aircraft around. But yeah, -14 pitch and roll for my side stick setup. And I'm testing something different here. It looks like he's starting to roll. We're on VATSIM. These are all real controllers, or real people taking off. So he's rolling out.
Fort Lauderdale traffic, Spirit Wings 317 lining up 10 left before Lauderdale.
Oh, I left my light on like a noob. Man, we really need those IAE engines. A350 boss, what's going on, man?
Lauderdale traffic, JetBlue 1495, pass 4000, direct gator left, call Fort Lauderdale.
So. Let's see if I can get a decent line up here on that short turn. Getting a little close to the hold short line. That's about as comfortable as I'm doing there without getting completely straight. There's my nose. Oh, see, that's a Microsoft bug. I moved my camera while I had the tiller input, and look at my nose wheel. It locks it. I hate that about Microsoft. This guy actually went past the hold short line there. That's a violation. He'd actually have to clear the runway, and he'd have to go taxi back because he crossed the hold short line. I know, with IE engines, I know, Paul. They just look so much better, right? All right, how we doing for likes? We're gonna do a little like hostage situation here before takeoff. Ooh, 207 likes, 591 watching. You think we can hit 300 likes? If we hit 300 likes, I'm gonna cut this guy off. If I don't hit 300 likes, I'm gonna let him go first. Runway incursion, exactly. Hello from Australia. What's going on, man? Welcome aboard the stream. Yeah, I see the problem with the middle mouse button is I need to get a new mouse because my middle mouse button doesn't register. 296. Can we do it? Oh, you guys are awesome. Fort Lauderdale traffic, Spirit Wings 982 lining up runway 10 left. Sorry, buddy. He even pushed off before me, so we're gonna go ahead and line up before him. Let's go. Great work, guys. Appreciate you. I'm gonna extend those. We won't turn them on. Everything's on except the takeoff lights. You see how I gotta like re-straighten my nose wheel out? I don't know why it does that. Thank you guys for helping me cut him off. Appreciate you. Yeah, that's a runway incursion for sure. I'm gonna reset the clock here. We'll wait about 30 seconds or so to give that guy a full little, I don't know where he's headed, if he's headed to Cancun or somewhere else, but we want to give him some time there on departure. So we'll wait here about 30 to 45 seconds before we actually goose him to full yoga on departure. All right, so we are set, brakes are off, everything is ready to go except that. Strobe light should be on, there we go. I need a light panel so bad. I don't want the whole overhead. I mean, that would be ideal, but I just need this. This is the hardest thing to manipulate in the sim for me. I don't know why. Just overhead lights have always been an issue. 5,000 restriction at Gator. Oh yeah, Vodka. I'm coming right behind you, man. Here we go. Just a few more seconds. I kind of liked spooling them up from the outside. Did you guys like the outside spool up? All right, there's 50 seconds. Lauderdale traffic, Spirit Wings 982 departing runway 10 left. Are we 982? I don't remember this call sign. Yeah, we are 982. All right, here we go. We're going to spool them up 50 from the outside. Love it. Yoga. Oh, that's awesome. All right, man, Toga, SRS runway auto thrust is blue. Remember, we do have failures on high, so we need to pay attention to what we're doing here. Trying to get that nose wheel back around. We're a little bit heavier than before. Thrust set. 100 knots. Check. A little bit late on that back pressure coming out. V1. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. Navin. Remember, you got to hold that back pressure on these CEOs. They don't have that rotation law until the blend is complete. Flyby, watch your ears. Man, that's awesome. Let's take a look at the Hilton Fort Lauderdale Marina, which is right there. I was literally over here at this hotel last week, guys. Right there. I walked down. There's like a little Starbucks over here.
Giant 475 heavy taking off runway 9 at Miami on the Flamingo 1.
All right, waiting for that positive trend. Ooh, Giant taking off out of Miami. That's cool. There's that positive trend. We'll go ahead and get it into the climb detent. Thrust, climb, climb, auto thrust. Scenery is dead on, man. That is 10 for 10. I feel like the sounds are a little low. Let me bring them up a little bit here. There is S speed, so we'll go ahead and go flaps 0. Cam, you were drinking down there 2 months ago? Best place. Awesome, dude. It's a great little place to visit. I like my Fort Lauderdale overnights. Whenever I get an overnight in Fort Lauderdale, because I wouldn't want to live there, but it's a fun place to visit. It really is. At or above 4,000, and then with the 5,000 after that, so we're going to have to level. I just want to enjoy these views. All right, let's just fly the airplane, though. We got a lot of views to enjoy on the way down. Forgot to disarm the spoilers there. Speed out star.
17 just passed Rick at 5,000, going direct to Gator. Last call, Fort Lauderdale.
Alright, so he's out of here on the SID. He gave himself a shortcut. We're just going to stay on the planned route today because we have all that traffic in front of us. This will help keep our separation a little bit better. Leveling at 4,000. Follow the command bars. There's out constraint. That's normal. I'm going to get our sun visor down so you guys can see what I'm looking at. I know it's hard, especially with YouTube compression when the sun visor's not down. Alright, we're speed out constraint navin. We're holding our 4,000 foot constraint. That's going to keep us here for a while. Let me just go autopilot 1 on so we can enjoy some juice here. Oh yeah, Detroit many times. What a beautiful departure. Fort Lauderdale. Wouldn't want to be here in about another 2 hours. Might start to get some thunderstorms building up. But yeah, holding at 5,000 here, keeping us below the departing traffic, or arriving traffic really, is why you're held at 4,000. What we can do is, we're going to go with self-direct. Lauderdale traffic, Spirit Wings 982, over to Yolu, going to go direct to Glades, climbing a 360, last call Lauderdale. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to self-direct us to, direct to a Gator for Lauderdale traffic. Alright, we're going direct to Gator.
Traffic, Giant 475 heavy, off the runway.
Open climb. Giant, oh, okay, there we go. This is the view right here. Hit the like button for this view. If you want a little waterway vacation rental, just hit the like button. We'll see what we can do for you, because that is awesome. This makes me want to go fly to Lauderdale right now. Like, I just want to call work and be like, hey, you got any, oh, what is this? Okay, go away. Got any trips to Lauderdale? Because I really want to go to Lauderdale right now after doing this. Are the failures set up based on flying older planes? How does it work? Are you guaranteed a failure on this flight? Andy Ivy, that's a great question. So according to Phoenix, when you place failures in high, you are still theoretically supposed to get failures based on data about which systems would fail most likely. So it's not like all systems are equal that you're going to get a random failure. There is some logic behind it. I wish I had a better answer. I don't fully know what to expect, but we are indeed going to be finding out what high really means on this one. So right now everything is normal. You know, it could be something as simple as a fuel tank pump goes out. So we'll just have to wait and see. We don't need the chrono anymore. We'll clear that. But I'm curious myself, Andy, on how they average it. And there is no way to adjust the age of the plane that I'm aware of. That's one thing that I really liked about the TOLUS, when you could set aircraft age and engine age, and it would actually modify your fuel burn and modify your performance of the airplane. So I do like that. And I just want to say something. I know we got a lot of people here. Oh, here comes a weather load or something. The TOLUS, you know, I've been raving about this Fenix here for a while. I did a hydraulic green system failure. There's 10,000. I did a hydraulic green failure in the TOLUS today just to see how it would handle. And you know what? The TOLUS systems, I raved about them when I was in X-Plane a lot. They are awesome. I mean, it did everything right as well. Like, I did a successful green hydraulic failure in the TOLUS aircraft. So if you're still in the X-Plane game and you still flying a TOLUS around, you have one hell of an airplane to fly with. I mean, those guys, and that's without contracting anything, you know, from ProSim. This is really going to get annoying. I wonder if we can see him departing down there. Oh, look, you can barely see a guy departing. I can see a dot on the runway. That's cool. We're at 10,000 feet. We're on our way. Let's check our Pegasus. This is our vSprit A cars. Taxi into runway. I think we pushed back on time. Everything looks good. Yeah, so we're looking good on that. I hope it's something spicy like the whole plane shutting down. Oh, man. Hopefully the audio's all right. This makes me nervous when I'm running OBS in performance mode. I can't see the output, so if anything is too loud, just let me know, and I will change it. But we're following the traffic. We're direct to Gator. I'm not going to give myself too many shortcuts. But once we get up here, we're going to talk about ETP modification and what exactly is an Equi-time point. I'm going to turn terrain mode on. This is something that I'll use this as a real-world tactic as well, especially when getting ready to cross ocean expanses. If there's no weather, I kind of want to see where my feet dry is, you know, or where the terrain is. So we're over, obviously, ground right now. Once we get over the water, sometimes I'll just leave the terrain on if there is no weather out there, so I could see where land is. You know, worst case scenario, you're putting it in the water or something. Where is some shoreline that I can get to? Because there may not be an airport on it, there may not be a VOR on it. It just gives you an idea of where to point the airplane when everything would go out. Scott Morgan says, I'm really struggling to get good landings, even in the TOLUS 319. What's your method for getting good landing? At what height do you round off a flare and pull the throttle? Scott Morgan, I did a video in X-Plane where I landed each airplane, the 19, the 20, and the 21. I think I did 3 landings in each of them, so 9 total landings. That is the best option, I would say, to go take a look at that video or that stream. I talk about landing techniques, I talk about flare mode, and the nuances between aircraft, whether you're in a 19 or a 21 or a 20. Because it's hard to just say, oh, do this all the time, because every landing is different. Remember that. Every landing you do, no matter how similar it may be to another landing you did, it is a little bit different somewhere. So you have to be able to adapt, and you have to be able to change your techniques. This is ridiculous here. Fix your stuff, Microsoft, but that view is awesome. Have I tried the Captain Sim 7.6? I have not, no. But everything is looking good up here. I think it's time I'm going to do over here, we'll just go to, we'll go to our jet page, and we'll go, do we have like a VFR map area? What's this? Pilot brief. What's documents? Oh, we'll do a normal checklist. That's fine. What I'm going to do, we don't need it right now. Let's go ahead and get rid of him. Let's get our sun visors on. This is 100% real life scenario here. We're getting ready to go through transition altitude. We're going to go topless. which means we take our headsets off and we put all these up, and we might even put sunshades in the window. Believe it or not. All right, getting ready to go through 18,000 feet. Set standard STDs for you and me, and one for the jump seater. So that is set 3 times. Oops, there it is. We're out of 18. How was the ride? A little bit of chop here. We'll leave the seatbelt sign on until we get up to cruise altitude. And we're going to talk about Equi-time points. We're going to talk about lateral revisions, and we're going to find out if that lateral revision or offset route is actually modeled, because that's a great question that was brought up earlier. Cam, just saw your comment. Says, flew the TOLUS Air Transit 321 Neo last night. 19 and 21 are simply amazing. I just wish they would add more interaction for performance calculations. That's you. Exactly, Cam. And I don't know if you caught what I was saying earlier, Cam, but today I got in the 19, and I just wanted to do some systems. I was like, okay, I've been loving this Fenix. I've been looking at all the things modeled here, and a lot of it, you know, I've kind of expecting, because if you're gonna contract some data from ProSim and you're gonna have some systems already set for you, I kind of expect a lot of these things to work. And don't get me wrong, I was still very impressed when everything worked flawlessly. So I said, you know what, let me get into TOLUS and just try it. Let me try a hydraulic system. I worked through it, and hey, the TOLUS did everything right. Same thing, 1-engine reverser, alternate brakes, did the landing gear extension. There was a little bug with the landing gear, the alternate landing gear extension. You could continue to spin it more than 3 times. Just little, I mean, there's a sound bug. If you put the gear lever up, you get the sounds coming up, even though the gear's not coming up. But as far as the systems, the core of the systems, they were there. I mean, so I'm not saying the TOLUS is no slouch by any means. Any reason not to link the barrows? I normally do, Garudin. I just didn't on this one. I said, screw it, what the heck. Which aircraft I'm type rated? I'm on the Airbus, man, among some other jets. Were you on the development team for Fenix? No, I was not. I sent them an email way back when they first announced, and they were not interested. But I did get a pre-release copy the day that the aircraft released on what was it, Thursday? So I believe, someone correct me if I'm wrong, isn't this that old Naval Air Station? I think they do a lot of military touch and goes into there, but I don't think that's an actual airfield that's active other than practice approaches. Cam, yeah, it's and the hand flying, I will say this too, because the hand flying in X-Plane, you cannot deny, and Flight Deck to Sim talked about this when he compared the Zebo to the PMDG in X-Plane, or PMDG in Microsoft. He said, you know what, they've got a lot of good things going here, but the hand flying itself is the model that you have in X-Plane is so fluid, and it is very, very hard to beat that. And I think until we see maybe some true CFD here in Microsoft, that maybe we'll be able to revisit that topic of discussion. But gotta hand it to X-Plane as far as the flight dynamics go. That's TNT, it's open for everyone. Okay, I'm mistaken then. Thanks, Chris. I keep getting wind uplink exist message. Why add my approach? Do you know why? I do not know. Great for touch go traffic, uncontrolled. Oh, maybe it is the one I was thinking of. So let's go data. What is it? No, sorry, no perf. Wind request. Oh, I did find a bug here with the when you like in the real airplane, you type 00 in your altitudes, and it'll give you the winds at those altitudes. This just gives you the winds at the altitudes that they want. So we'll insert the winds. And typically when you insert the wind, you'll lose your UTC and your fuel on board. That'll just dash out until it can load. But yeah, so we've inserted all the winds. That looks good. And I'm going to put MMUN here in my prog page. And we'll also do we'll do proper. We'll go secondary. We're going to copy the active out of 10,000 feet. And we'll also put Delta operations on frequency number 2 to monitor. So 121.5 is set on COM 2, and we'll just turn that on and that on. Beautiful. I'm going to turn down the blue there. There we go. That's very nice. So you can see Key West is out here. Now, can I filter airports? I don't think. I wonder if I'd like to be able to filter the airport length. So we can see we got an ETP out there. Oh, good. We're going to talk about that as soon as we get to top of climb. Perfect. We got another 10,000 feet. Let's enjoy some of these views. It worked, Antone? Okay, good, good. Hello, Brazil. What is going on, man, Antonio? Welcome. We are on our way. We're stopping in Central America first here at Cancun. I think I want to do Guatemala. I think we might do a quick flight to Guatemala and then maybe Costa Rica. And then we're going to end up going south into Brazil. And we'll switch it up. We'll be in the PMDG. We're going to be in the mix of the PMDG, the Fenix, the BAE 146. This is going to be a really fun couple, probably a month, fun couple weeks or so of streaming. Robinson said, I had a too steep path yesterday on the Fenix. It was descending like a roller coaster. Did not follow any inputs. Is that a bug on the sim? Robinson, it's really hard without seeing a video of what's going on in your cockpit to really diagnose that. A too steep path just means that the path that is programmed for vertical planning is too steep that the airplane does not predict that it can make it with speed brakes out and idle thrust. So that's why you get that message. There are ways to adjust that. There are some arrivals in the U.S. that you get that message all the time, even when everything is done correctly, like L.A. comes to mind. So there are ways around it. Why your airplane was descending so fast, like a roller coaster, again, I'd have to actually see that to have to be there to see exactly what you're talking about. Jeremy Harvey, guys, very exciting. There is Jeremy. Says, music will be to you by the end of today. Jeremy, hey man, I am just absolutely thankful for every sound and all the music you've created on this channel. I cannot wait to hear what Jeremy has put forth for the Central South America tour, which will officially start when we get our music from Jeremy Harvey. That will be the official flight. This is kind of think of it as a reposition flight down to Central America or Mexico. But Jeremy, I can't wait to hear it, man. Thank you so much. Guys, Jeremy Harvey is fantastic gentleman. He's done all the sounds for the channel, all the countdown music. I get countless comments and saying, oh, best sounds, best countdown music, and all credit to Jeremy Harvey. Ed Reed, what's going on, brother? He says, hi, Captain. Hope your job flights went well this week. Ed Reed, thank you, sir. They did. Everything is good. So we're back at it tomorrow. We're back on the grind tomorrow. V1, I'm thinking about upgrading my PC for Microsoft. I'm going to get VR this summer on the HP Reverb G2. Do you think it is also worth the RTX 3090? So I could run crazy graphics and frames. Abman, well, let me tell you this. It doesn't matter which graphics card you have, you will never be able to run everything on maxed out Ultra. Like, that's every setting. When you get into VR, the same, it's going to be even more apparent. I don't dabble in VR at all, so I really don't have a good answer for you, but I will say this. Get the best GPU that you can afford that's in your PC budget, because you're only setting your computer up for a future proofing. So if you can afford that 3090, get the 3090, especially if you're doing VR stuff, because you're going to want some of that VRAM. I personally needed more VRAM for doing digital combat simulator streaming. That's a huge VRAM hog. So that's why I went with the 3090 and I didn't get the 3080. I almost got a 3080, but then I said, you know what? I want to be able to put my stream on DCS and have it nice and smooth, and I needed more VRAM so that VRAM, I still almost max it out on DCS with the 3090. So just get the best that you can afford that's in your budget, and put it that way. Water is definitely blue. Beautiful day. How many legs you do tomorrow? Mo, I don't actually know yet. I got to check. Thank you, Ed. Appreciate it, man. I am on live weather and live time. Yes, we are. That's what I said when I got my 1080 Ti. It's nearly out of date. Jonathan, you know what, though? The 1080 Ti is a hell of a card. I ran Microsoft on a 1070 for a while. All right, we are approaching 340. Then we're going to get into Equi-time points. We're going to talk about crossing open expanses on the water. There's a couple of real-world techniques that I would use. And you know what? This is a good time to actually get into it now, because we are pretty much feet wet out here. We got the keys off our left. Look at that, behind the sunshade. That is so awesome. I mean, there's the keys down there, and you see it behind the sunshade. Oh, so freaking awesome. But I'm going to need my iPad, so I got to pull this out. You guys said there was a map here in the charts. Let me pull it up, because I want to be able to explain this concept, and I think it'll be better if I have an actual map here. You said route page. Here we go. Thank you. Loading map. Aha. This is exactly what we need. Can I hide this? I can. This is the best EFB ever. Jeez. All right. Here we go, folks. Let's discuss Equi-time points, what they are, can you modify them, why would you modify them, and some real-world techniques that I do every time I cross the Gulf or open water. So first things first, it looks to be a smooth ride. Let's go ahead and get the seatbelt sign off. We'll let them roam. I mean, what a beautiful day. Calm winds. When you can start to see reflections, you know the wind isn't blowing that hard down there on the water. It's awesome. I was saving for a 3090, then the puppy ate part of my mouth guard and we went to the emergency vet. Oh no, I'm sorry, Fubar. You know what? I hope everything turns out okay for your pup, man. My dog got into my flight bag today, and I had, I think, maybe 4 protein bars in there still. I normally carry like a bag of them, and I had a couple that had chocolate in them, so I'm concerned myself. He ate all of them, so he's going to be jacked by the end of the week. But I hope I hope your dog will be okay. I hope everything turns out, man. Puppies is I love dogs, but man, it can be heartbreaking when the time comes. I took United 319 from Denver to the garbage. In the US of A, a pilot got landing wheels down again after takeoff during climb to cool down brakes. Oh, really? I got to the landing wheels down after takeoff. So yeah, he probably was riding the brakes on departure, or maybe he had hot brakes on the takeoff roll. It hit 300C right after rotation. Yeah, that's exactly what you got to do. You got to lower the landing gear, put it in the jet stream there, or the slipstream. Really, I guess it's not really a slipstream. Just put it in the relative wind, and it will cool them down. Carta, I know, man. Hope your dog doesn't leave you a present in your bag. I know, Blue. I've gone off to work and found stuff missing and all kinds of stuff. Oh, there's the keys right there. Nice. They got the stuff out. Good to hear it, Fubar. Carta, your engine in X-Plane, your IEs, are so good they would fit seamlessly on this model. I wonder if there's a way that you could get your models over to Phoenix, because your engines, I looked at them again today on X-Plane, and they 100% have the quality to be placed right here. There's Key West down there. This is cool. Let's look at this view here, and then we'll go heads down, because we're going to be heads down looking at Equi-time point stuff. But let's enjoy the last bit of land before we go completely feet wet. Get RAS? I can't stand RAS, man. U.S. carriers don't really use it all that much. Matter of fact, I don't know any U.S. carrier that operates RAS. It drives me nuts. Do you have Class 2 nav paperwork? I do. Whiskey Tango. Class 2 enter and exit. How do you calculate descent rate in real life? It'll depend, really. But take your altitude you're at, minus the altitude you need to go to, multiply it by 3. That'll give you a rough idea how far you need to start down. My CFI check ride was on the 14th. One question, how would you explain sweep-back wing? What do you mean, how would you explain it? Like, what are the different flight dynamics of a swept wing? That's a good question. You're probably going to get that. They're going to say, what are the benefits of a swept wing? Obviously, more efficient at high speed, but it'll definitely a little bit more or less stable. If only not sure it's possible in Microsoft without breaking you. Oh, I see, Carta. Is the RAS stuff that says approaching 2-5 left or something? Exactly, Cactus, exactly. Approaching 2-5 left. Long landing, long landing. Why do you hate RAS so much? Because I don't need additional things yelling at me. The airplane is well equipped to handle everything else. If you don't know you're having a long landing, then you shouldn't be flying the airplane anyway. So, and I get it, it helps for situational awareness on a taxiway when you're taxiing. It says approaching 2-5 left. I mean, I get that part, but at what point, how much assistance do you need, to do your job? So I think actually some European operators require it. I think that has to do with their low time requirements. You can get a job flying an airliner in Europe at a lot less time than you can in the U.S. U.S., I mean, you need 1,500 hours to even be accepted for an ATP. So I think that's part of it. But it just, and it goes off sometimes in the sim at the wrong time, and it just, I don't know. How tall are winglets in height? They're 8 feet tall. How tall is the cockpit to the ground? I used to know that. I don't remember. I know you'll break a leg, though, if you jump out the window. But the sharklets are 8 feet tall. Also adds some overall length to the wing, too. So you go from 111.10. So if you standard shark or wingtip fence like this, your wingspan is 111 feet 10 inches. With the sharklets, you're up to 117.5. So you've added an additional, what's that, 4 feet? 5 feet? No, 6 feet. Geez, 6 feet. So about 3 feet on each wing. That makes sense because you get about 3 feet on each wing is going to be going out. So your overall wingspan increases to 117.5. That's one you definitely got to remember. 117.5, 111.10, because that's when you start going down some narrow taxiways and there might be obstacles. Sometimes they run, when you look at the 10.9 page on an airport diagram, that'll actually say limited to wingspans greater than or less than. So that's why you really want to have those down to memory. We need a long landing emoji. Well, that's what I'm probably going to do, a revamp of emojis at some point. We do have the float factor. Sometimes I see you land with FD on and off. Can you explain the reason? Ricardo hot brakes? Well, flight directors will always be off on an RNAV approach. On an RNAV, you're always going to have your flight directors off. Depending if I want to hand fly or not or follow the iOS, I might keep the flight director on. It's just pilot preference. But on an RNAV approach, you should always have your flight directors off. Let's see what we got here. Receive messages. Spirit operations. Uh-oh. No delay code required. There we go, folks. That we need an extra pay bump because despite all the shenanigans at the gate, we got off the gate on time. No ADC required. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Nasser, welcome to Commercial Pilot, sir. Very much appreciative of you joining the channel as a commercial member, exclamation point member, for your new perks here on the channel. I did get a new microphone. It's at the house. I'll be using it on the podcast tonight, and the new podcast that's coming out for members only will be with a new mic. I'm recording it with a new mic that I picked up yesterday. So, Nasser, you get access to all the V1 After Dark podcasts. You get access to the V1 After Dark channel in the Discord, and I'm very happy to have you on board the channel, sir. Welcome. How come flight directors off for RNAV? Might come to requires them on unless FAT is offset by more than 3 degrees. Depends on the type of RNAV approach you're doing, but once you go through 50 feet, it's going to revert vertical speed, and you don't want to be landing in vertical speed mode. So that's why you turn them off, unless you're doing an FLS or some other type of vertically projected approach that's certified for that. But a standard RNAV approach, I don't care what Airbus you're on. If you're not on FMS2, what is it, 50 feet at some point below minimums, the flight directors, if you keep them on, and this simulates it just perfectly, this is going to go into reversion mode, vertical speed track, and you don't want to be landing in vertical speed. ETP is ahead. Okay, here we go. Let's get to it. So we'll do a cabin tour here in a minute, but we got our viewers here. Everyone probably wants to see this, so let's talk about ETPs. ETPs, or equal time points, or estimated time to P, because that's the halfway point, are very important for a couple reasons. Number one, they show you exactly where the halfway point is on your flight plan, gives you a rough estimate of where everything is, where you're at, you know, a turnaround point. But there is a problem with the way that the Equi-time point is calculated by default. And by the default, what I mean is how Airbus actually does this in real life. And they take the Equi-time point from your departure and your arrival, which, if you left from, you know, this part of Florida over here, what is that, Fort Myers? Hey, then it actually wouldn't matter at all where your Equi-time point is, because that is dead smack in the middle over the water. We don't need to listen to those guys. Douglas Phillips, thank you so much for the $30 dono, man. Very appreciative of that. He says, thank you for the stream. Well, thank you for tuning in, sir, and thank you for supporting the channel here. I appreciate that, man. Well, we'll go back to those guys in a little bit. But thank you, man. So on this particular example, it would be ideal if we could modify our Equi-time point between 2 points that we could land at, right? Because we're technically not equidistant from shoreline to shoreline. We're over here in Lauderdale. So if you look at your ND, you'll see that the Equi-time point is right here over, what's that, Dunog? It says ETP. And if I zoom out all the way, you kind of see there's Cancun, there's our ETP right there. Now this is modifiable. So if we go into, if I remember right here, data page, Equi-time point, you can see aircraft 2, Lauderdale, Cancun. All right, there's a couple ways we can change this. Is there an airport that I would rather go to in the event of a severe fire or something? Where could I go? Well, Cuba is an option, but the way things are, you probably don't want to go to Cuba unless you absolutely have to. But let's throw in Fort Myers, because Fort Myers is a little bit closer than Lauderdale. So I'm going to put in KRSW right here. So I want to know the distance between RSW and Cancun. And you'll see now that our ETP has shifted forward of Dunog. So what I've done is I've changed the points of where this measures from to right here and Cancun. And this example is relatively short because we don't really have too many other good options other than Fort Myers. I'm probably not going to go to Cuba unless I'm on fire. But now at least I know, okay, hey, turn around, I got Fort Myers. If something were to happen right now, if I'm past this ETP, I know, hey, I'm actually closer to Cancun than anything on the coast of the United States. Whereas if something happened right at Dunog, I might, if I didn't change my ETP, I might continue to Cancun, not realizing that I had a closer airport that might have been even a better suitable alternate. And this, I want to show you a different example here. Let's just say, because this is one I get a lot, coming out of Dallas. So let's just pretend that, we're doing Dallas, Cancun. Same thing, the Equi-time point is based off of leaving DFW to Cancun. So your Equi-time point is going to be right about here, close to New Orleans. So every single time I do this flight in real life, if I'm coming from Dallas, I'm not going to leave my Equi-time point right here because that does me no good. I want to know my distance in between Cancun and the suitable alternate that's closest to me, which in this example that I'm giving you now would be New Orleans. So I would do the same thing, is I'd leave the ETP there until I started getting closer. And once I'm ready to go feet wet, I'm going to go to my data page, and I'll show you again how to get to there. You'll be on your flight plan. You go data page, and then we go Equi-time point, and you're going to change your departure. So in this example, I would have changed it to MSY, and the Equi-time point would shift from right about here to dead smack in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. Why is that important? We talked about that a little bit, because if you have an emergency dead smack in the middle of the Gulf, that's the worst possible scenario, right? You are equidistant from both suitable alternates. But if I don't know that, I'm now going to waste some valuable time trying to figure out my closest alternate. Now, there is a bailout that the Airbus gives you. So let's just say you didn't modify your Equi-time point and you're over the Gulf, and here's the thing, if you go past your Equi-time point, it will disappear. So it'll go away from your flight plan. You won't see it on your ND anymore. So let's just say we were being lazy pilots. We're just fat, dumb, and happy. We're sipping our coffee. We're going Dallas, Cancun. We flew past our Equi-time point, and we're like right about here. So at this point, let's say we've got a fire breaks out in the cargo hold. Okay, fire is extremely time sensitive, time critical emergency. You need to get the airplane on the ground. If I didn't modify my ETP, I've got a bailout method. I can go to the data page, and I can go closest airports. Closest airports will give me the closest bearing, distance, and my approximate UTC time of arrival if I fly directly to that fix. And you can see we got a couple airports that are even closer. So we got, these are all in what? I think these are in, what's Muha? Is that in Cuba? Is that Havana? So this is a bailout page. You're flying around, you didn't modify your ETP, you have random failures on, and you get a fire. Oh my gosh, where do I go? I wasn't listening to V1 Sim. I turned him on mute when he got to cruise. Well, data page, closest airports, boom. And what you can do is you can actually freeze a waypoint. So in this example, we had Fort Myers, but I don't see it on here. So I'm going to manually put Fort Myers here. So now I know, look, if I have a fire right now, theoretically, Fort Myers, I'm probably not going to go there. Look how far it is. I probably will go to MUPB or Havana. It's only 8 miles difference. So this is one of those classic examples where you're flying around, you maybe missed a step, or you just It's not necessarily required. It's just situational awareness. Winston, you bring up a good question. Are these suitable airports or just nearest? That it will depend on how it's modified in the database. And I think, I could be wrong, I think that can be modified per airline and what they deem it's a suitable airport. So remember, we're talking just sim purposes here. I know Havana is a suitable airport, so I'm going to clear Fort Myers. I will leave Fort Myers in there, but let's just go back now. Let's just say I'm going to modify my ETP again. So you could see we're approaching our ETP of Dunog, right? Just past Dunog. We know Havana is over here. And if I put the airport page on, yeah, so there's Muha and MUPB. Let's put MUPB on there. We're going to watch our ETP shift. So I'm going to go data, Equi-time point. I don't want to worry about Fort Myers. I want MUPB. Put it right there. It's going to recalculate. And now look at our ETP. It's way up here. So now, critical emergency, I've realized, well, I'm a hell of a lot closer to Havana than I am going to Fort Myers, and I'm not even close to being halfway to Cancun between Havana and Cancun. So situational awareness, if I'm on fire, I'm making an immediate left turn, emergency descent, and I'm going into Havana, Cuba. So these are techniques that I use in real life all the time when crossing either, these are called GOMEX routes, so anything over the Gulf of Mexico here. And then even more so, this is even more important when you start flying to South America and you really start crossing some water, or you start doing some waters routes. So I've done routes from like New York all the way down to the islands out here, Jamaica and all this stuff. What are these? The Caribbean, however you want to say it. And trust me, there is a lot of water out here. And one of the best examples, really, this one can get a little bit difficult because you're so far away that you have to calculate now what is my lateral deviation to really calculate a good ETP point. But a really good example is, say, Orlando to anywhere in South America. This is one where I'm constantly changing the ETP. So if I left from, let's just say we left from Lauderdale and we're going down to, where we're going to go to? We're going to Colombia, right? Let's say we're going to Medellin. And I did this in real life, and I talked about it. When I depart Miami, I'm headed south. I'm going to keep my ETP between Miami and Jamaica. I'm going to put XP-72s home right here in Jamaica because in an ideal situation, I can avoid Cuba, and I'm going to go to Jamaica. So I've got my first ETP. It's going to be sitting right here over Cuba. That way I know if I have a time critical emergency, boom, I'm going back to Florida, or boom, I'm dipping right into Jamaica. Once I pass that ETP, it's no longer worth anything. Like, I need to get rid of it. I need to change it. So then once I pass the ETP, I'm like, okay, my next ETP, I want to know how close I am from Jamaica to Cartagena, because that's the next suitable point of landing. And I update it. So then I'll get a new ETP that's going to be plotted right here. And again, this is all time critical emergency stuff. I have an immediate situational awareness. I know exactly where the aircraft is and where I need to go. And when you have a fire or a time critical emergency, seconds can mean the difference between life or death, literal seconds. So that's what, being vigilant and being disciplined in keeping good situational awareness and using these tools that are given to you in the Airbus. I mean, we have all these tools. If we don't use them, then it's, they're not worth anything. So that's why I like educating you guys as simmers, and I encourage y'all to use these techniques. And a lot of you are like, well, I'm never going to fly with failures. I'm scared of failures, or I don't have a failure checklist. Let me tell you right now, guys, so the Airbus, you don't need to worry about flying with failures if you don't have a company comm or anything or any additional documents, because the Airbus does such a good job at telling you what to do that is time critical or an aircraft critical. So depending on your failure, the ECAM is going to tell you exactly what to do. So give yourself a reason to understand what's happening subsystem wise, and give yourself a reason to use these tools, because if you don't use these tools, you're wasting a lot of the available data that's out there, and situational awareness is going to go out the window if you're not using them. So that's why we use it. Exactly, Fubar. Route offsets. Okay, let's talk route offsets real quick. So Let's see. A good example for a route offset is going to be if you are, probably a weather would be the most common situation for a route offset. There's other reasons we will offset a route depending for if you're going across a track system, you might need to do wake turbulence avoidance or something like that. So let's say we're doing weather though. So if we'll turn terrain off ND for right now. Let's say we're looking at our route here and we got to build up next to, let's just say we got to build up right where the ETP is, right? Let's say we're looking at our radar and there's some clouds building up here. And over the Gulf, it's very common. You get these tall, single cell thunderstorms that can go very high into the flight levels, upper 40s, 50,000 feet. So you don't want to fly anywhere near it. There's two ways you can go around it. You can either use your heading mode and you can deviate, or we can use a route offset. And route offsets are very nice. And I don't even know if they're modeled. So let's see. What we're going to do here is we're going to select the L1 or lateral revision key. Remember, L is for lateral. So lateral revision, and we're going to select offset. Now notice this says offset from PPOS, but we want to offset from an actual waypoint. So I'm going to return that, and I want to see how this is modifiable. I'm going to pick Olabe offset. Okay, so it's not quite, this is kind of like an old Thales thing. So let me see if this works here. We're going to offset from Olabe. Does it want a waypoint? This is not quite how it is in the Honeywell. Okay, so yeah, this is, I don't know if this is modeled or, let's do left 5. Okay, so this is an old Thales thing. So let me adjust what I'm saying. All right, so we're going to offset left or right. Let me clear that out. Before you decide, let me go, I guess I can't clear it. Ideally, I'd want to offset right because look at our winds aloft. If you have weather up here over our ETP, you're probably going to want to offset upwind of that storm, because if you offset downwind, that's where you can get into some headings, or I'm sorry, heading. You can get into some hail, you can get into some blow off. Typically, you always want to deviate to the right. So I'm going to change this. Let's do a right 10. So I'm going to put R for 10, and now it's going to change from PPOS and to the right. Now on the real airplane, on the Honeywell, on the Honeywell system, you can actually pick the waypoint. I think this is just an older setup here. But it still works pretty much the same. The newer ones that we have now are very intuitive. You can select the offset point, you can select the re-entry point, you can select the deviation type, whether you're right or left and all that. But let's just say we want to do that. We're going to go ahead and temporary insert. And now the aircraft is going to offset right for 10 miles. And since we're offsetting, we're going to go ahead and burn some extra gas here. Let's go 8.1. How are we looking on our landing fuel? 9.0. We're going to offset to the right 10 miles. Now the problem with offsets is you have to rejoin, and when you rejoin, you actually burn more gas. So an offset, you're going to burn a heck of a lot more gas than you would if you just used heading mode and deviated around that cell. But now you can see here we're breaking out on an offset. This is a very common procedure when you're flying track route systems or over the West Atlantic track system, going over the waters routes. They actually but they suggest that you offset a few miles for wake turbulence because everybody's on the same tracks. And if you're a little 320 and you're going underneath some 7.4s, you want to be offset so you're not getting rocked from wake turbulence the whole flight. So it's very common that you enter the track, you offset 2 miles. We call that SLOP, which is strategic lateral offset. And that's a whole different technique, but the principle is the same here. We start the offset, and there we go. Now we're actually probably going to lose some time because we got a 10-mile offset right and then a 10-mile rejoin. Then you can see it leaves the waypoint, and it will transfer your ETP over to your current route. That's what that solid green line is, which is awesome to see that they've actually simulated that properly. But Douglas Phillips, yeah, to answer your question about offsets, apparently that's how it's modeled here. I don't think there's another way. Yeah, see, this is just an old Thales offset. This is an old software. They're much more intuitive now, and I think the TOLUS, someone might be able to correct me if you still fly the TOLUS. I think the TOLUS has, or maybe the Flight Factor, where when you select a lateral revision offset, it'll show you, I don't want to do it from PPOS. This is saying offset from PPOS. I want to offset from a certain point. I want to rejoin at a certain point. I want to go left or right, and I want to go X miles. And it will tell you your estimated fuel and all that. So when the real aircraft, you get a lot more information from the lateral revision key than you do here in the Phoenix. But for sim purposes, it's basically, nil at that point. So we're looking good. We're doing 8-1. We're cutting across now, and you can see here on the map everything's looking good. So that is your instruction on Equi-time points and offsets. It doesn't have it, TJ? Okay. Maybe it is the flight factor. Ronald, I'm trying it now, but both with L10 and R10, I get out of range. Maybe you don't have enough. Maybe it has something to do with your flight plan. I'm not sure why you would get that. Offset is also for transatlantic? Yes. Yeah. Strategic lateral offset procedure is the way that you call it. And I can actually look here. I can show y'all, or I can read to y'all what it says. I believe it's like, I haven't done it in a while, but someone in chat probably knows. It's probably like, what, up to 5 miles left of course, right of course? I can't remember. I haven't done a waters route in a little while. But let me go into here. I guess Tolas have the same old system from that? Possibly. Let's see. Slop. Strategic lateral offset procedure. Offset should be flown 1 or 2 miles right of center line. Offsets will not exceed 2 nautical miles right. Offsets left of center line should not be made. So if you're doing a track route and you're offsetting, you want to make sure you're going right, and you want to make sure you're going between 1 and 2 miles only. And that is for wake turbulence. That's not for weather deviation. Yeah, it is 2 miles. Exactly, Telreese, thanks. Yep. Yeah, that is just for wake turbulence separation. And I wonder, where does it show me rejoining here? It shows me rejoining at Walkie. Yeah, I wish we could modify that, but I don't believe... see, it keeps going lateral revision from PPAWS. And it says lateral revisions from Walkie. Offset, and it goes right back to PPAWS. So it's probably just a limitation within the box here in the sim. Now, somebody was asking, what is the best way to... enable an alternate. And there's a couple ways you can enable an alternate. You can do it from your secondary. You could activate and go to your alternate. Or you can put it in your secondary first, which is if you're getting a long route, I typically will put it in the secondary first. That way I can see the fuel burn. I can see the estimated fuel on board upon landing, and then I end up going there. I kind of run my numbers in the in the secondary. But the easiest way, let's just say, you pop out, we pop an engine right now. We know we're diverting back to Havana because we haven't reached our ETP between Havana and Cancun. Easiest way to set up a diversion, pick any L1 key. Any one will work. I'm sorry, except except L1. Any key except L1, and it says right here, new destination. And then you would just put in your destination here. That is the fastest way to put a new destination in your active flight plan. So that's also a super, and also theoretically you could go enable alternate here if you already have an alternate planned in your init page. Like we already have an alternate MZBZ, so you could just go here, enable alternate, or you could just go new destination. Realistically, if it's not a time critical emergency, I'm gonna be sitting here probably in heading mode, and then I'm going to go into my secondary. I'm going to build the secondary the way I'm expected to fly there. So you want to make sure you have your arrival in there because that's going to take up some fuel. You want to make sure you have some altitudes in there, especially descending down, because you're going to burn more fuel as you descend. And then once I see the information in the secondary flight plan, and if I say, okay, that looks good, I'm okay with it, we're going. And then you would just go activate secondary and on your way. Now, I've actually had that happen to me in real life where we were flying from Orlando to I think we were going to Chicago, and they came online and gave us a reroute that was way out of the way, and I was like, okay, I said stand by, we need to plug it in, and I plugged it in the secondary because I wanted to see exactly how much fuel this reroute was going to take. I didn't want to just start modifying the primary flight plan. So you copy your active, modify your secondary exactly the way you want it. And I was looking at the fuel, and I was like, we simply do not have the fuel on board. They wanted us to go like an extra 1,000 miles. It was an insane reroute. And the controller and I actually kind of got into it. I was like, look, we're not going to be able to take that. He's like, well, it's for traffic management. You need to have, that's the only route you can get out of Chicago. And I'm like, Okay, well, unless you plan on putting an extra 2,000 pounds of fuel on board the airplane with a tanker, we cannot accept that route. We do not have the gas to go 1,000 miles out of the way. So after some back and forth, he eventually gave me the route that I wanted, which was almost a direct to, which was even better than our original route. So sometimes you have to put your foot down, and you have to realize that these reroutes that come down from ATC, they don't really know, your fuel load, your fuel planning. That's all going to be from your dispatcher. So sometimes you just got to put your foot down and be like, we cannot accept that. It's just not possible. Let's go ahead and rejoin here. So let's say we're done deviating and we want to rejoin. There's a couple ways we could do it, and I'm curious if it will go. Okay, so I think we just go direct to. So let's just go direct to Walkie. Let's see if we can catch up on these guys. We'll go direct to Walkie. And then you could end it. But you know what? I don't want to cut the corner because I want to give these guys some spacing. So we'll just leave it like that. We'll monitor, and then we can see when we cut over. As soon as this guy gets a little bit further over, we'll cut back, and that'll slot us in. Is SLOP used together with ETP? Yeah, it transfers your ETP over. So you can see that our ETP actually transferred over here, and that's correctly simulated. So that's it's good to see that. I just wish you had more modification in the slot. But, I mean, how often are you going to use it there on that sim? I could revert my offset by putting in 0, but somehow didn't have any re-entry point. Yeah, that's interesting. I think that's just part of the sim here being a little off with that. But I'm going to leave that direct 2 in there. And then, I mean, we got 10 miles to rejoin. That should be plenty. Let's just go ahead and insert. We could slow down if we need to. We'll go insert. And then we'll rejoin. He's also 1,000 feet above, so we're looking fine. We'll go back into manage Mach, which is back to 8.0. Save a little gas. Speaking of gas, you're looking at fuel on board 9.3. Fuel predict page. Hour 36. Final is 2. I'm glad they got rid of that route reserve. I think that was in there. Our alternate, though, we need at least 3. There we go. A Phoenix Festival? Exactly. Enter destination data. How far we got? 180 miles. So that is true. So let's go ahead and pick up our weather since we're already down here in the box. MMUN, Mike Uniform November. We'll send that off. We'll see what happens. And we need to pull up our chart as well. That's going to be Cancun 10 left. I guess if you clear R10, it works. Okay, NASA. Maybe that's what it is. Oh, I'm already in Navigraph. Silly. All right, let's go Cancun. Arrival. We're on the NOSAT 1 Bravo. NOSAT 1 Bravo from... Are we coming in from NOSAT? No, we're coming in from Walkie. Look at the approach here real quick. We want ILSD 412 left. Captain Dennis, dude, thank you for the $20 super chat, sir. Says, I've not played Microsoft since January 30th, and I went back home next Tuesday and we'll be starting up the sim again. What has changed since the end of January? What should I expect? Since January, I don't think there's anything crazy, other than, of course, the recent releases and Sim Update 9. So I think you probably have an update with Sim Update 9. And, of course, you've got the PMDG and the Phoenix at your disposal. But other than that, man, it's been running pretty good, so it should be awesome. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate that, man. Huge dono. Thank you very much for that. All right, so you got ILS-DME 4. What's ILS-DME 2? That's with the ARC. We don't really want to do that. I mean, we could. Let's see how it flies it. Let's set up for the ILS-DME 2, 1-2 left. with the NOSAT 1 Bravo, and we want to come off a NOSAT. I want to load up the arc, so we're going to change that. We're going to go arrival, ILS 12 left, number 2, and we're on the NOSAT, and we're going to approach via. Was it Rydug? Let's take a look at that. ILS DME 12 left, number 2, because I'm curious to see if it'll fly this arc here. Don't really fly the arc. This one's kind of an outdated one. What is that initial? Lettuce? Letus? Letus. Go to plan mode. We could see. Oh, okay, there you go. This is a very nice drawing on the ND. Let's take a look at this. So you can see here is our planned arrival, and that's very true to real life. We'll put constraints on so you can see the altitudes. This is exactly how it would be set up. We need to start down. But we're going to actually load the arc as well. We'll probably piss some people off, but whatever. We're going to load the arc because I want to see the airplane fly. So let's go ahead and insert that. And they're all starting down. We need to start down as well. The bottom of the arrival, we need to get to at least 3,000 feet. So we're going to set 3,000 in the window. Remember, push for manage nav. It'll take you down. We're a little bit behind the curve. There's thrust idle descent. We're starting down. She's going to peg down. More drag required. I'm going to make this a hard altitude NOSAT 22. It says we're going to make it though, so we'll leave it. 22 is set. We'll get the LS push buttons on. What else do we have on the chart? We're looking at 110.7 with 125 on the inbound course. The DA is 250. So we go perf 250. We never got our weather. Let's pull up the secondary MCDU. Yannick, I'm glad you're enjoying it, man. It's kind of an information overload there going into the slop and the ETP, but I really think you guys will. The more you know, the more you can enjoy it, right? So that's why I do that. I like to share that with you. And again, the whole thing about the ECAM being able to give you proper corrective actions for any type of fault is reason in of itself that you should at least, put your failures on realistic and keep them on low, and you don't have to do anything crazy. But the ECAM will tell you what to do. As long as you stick with aviate, navigate, communicate, the ECAM has got you covered. All right, so our perf data is set 299 or 8. We got an MDA of 250. Let's do a quick briefing here. So if we were going to brief this up in real life, we're looking at the ILS DME number 2, runway 12 left for Cancun. 110.7 is the localizer. Final approach course is 125. Glide slope intercept at 1,400 feet. 250 touchdown. I'm sorry, 250 minimum. It's in the glass. Touchdown zone is 21 feet. So when we talk about the stable approach criteria, and you talk about being 2,000 feet above the touchdown zone at 180 knots at flaps 2, you have to remember that is based off of your touchdown zone, not your barometric altitude. It's your touchdown zone. Or I'm sorry, not your rad out, your touchdown zone. So we're going to round up. Let's just round it up to 100 feet. So at 2,100 feet, we need to be flaps to 180. And then as soon as you hit the slope and you go down, or as soon as you hit 2,000, you manage speed and you'll be stable every time. Almost every time anyway. Cancun sector altitude is 2,000 feet. That just means, if you get lost or disoriented, you need to climb to a safe altitude. 2,000 feet is where you're going. As far as the arc is concerned, there's really nothing crazy. It's all in the box properly. I want to fly it just to see how the airplane is simulated here. So we're going to let it fly the arc. It should hold an 11 DME arc all the way around and intercept the loc. We'll arm the approach once we're passing the 316 radial inbound. And I'll show you how we can verify that in our secondary, our old school navigation. Anyways, we got PAPIs and reels on the left, ALSIF lighting. If we have to go missed, it's left turn 2000, 0438 miles and hold off Cancun. And we should be able to see that in the box if we go down to the very bottom. You'll see the missed approach is in the box, 223, left turns into the box, perfect. Any failures planned for coming to Cancun? Right now, it's looking okay. I haven't noticed anything. If you do a status check here, everything is normal. Remember, we're just rolling the dice on this one. I did notice a bit of an issue here when you click the all page. So these synoptic pages, every time you click one, it should alternate each page. So from hydraulic, it should go straight to fuel. Every time you click it, it goes back. So that's incorrect. Yeah, you see how it keeps going back? So we'll just do it manually like that. I think that might be something really old. That might be like an old simulation. I don't know. I'd have to look into that. But most Airbuses now, you hit out all, it just goes through each one. Right now, systems check is okay. Everything is good. Put him back on the flight plan page. A 280. Everything else is looking good at this point. I'm going to sit back, enjoy the views. You don't touch the trim unless you need to. Yannick, I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. Thank you for your continued support, man. Appreciate you. 19 months. Awesome. How do you do an RNAV approach for RNAV? Is it the FLS? FLS is different than RNAV. We'll have to do an FLS video, but FLS is a type of RNAV. You're correct. Earlier today, I did the LDA Zulu to 19 at DC, but didn't get any localizer guidance, just LDEV and VDEV like an RNAV. Is that normal? I'd have to look at the chart, but I'm pretty sure that is normal. LDA Zulu. Now, that's a localizer type directional aid, so you should have been able to use the localizer freak. You should have been able to actually arm a loc up here, and you should have had a loc blue, and you would capture the LDA. That's how it should work. I'd have to look at the chart, though. Any chance you can fly to Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina? You know what? I haven't been there in a really long time. Captain Dennis, I'll have to look into that, man. I do love Raleigh in real life, but right now we're headed down south, and we're going to stay down south for the next month probably. Are these all beacon lights? You guys see that? If I bring that down, you can see 1, 2, 3 different beacons. That's crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna need one of those. I'm gonna need one of those margaritas, man. Absolutely. Yeah, Canada. Used to do Canada quite a bit when I was based in the Northeast. The failure was at the gate. The GPU exploded. That was an interesting fault, because you're absolutely right. When the ground power drops out in the real airplane, it will actually hold your program stuff there for a while. So it should have powered back up, and it should have kept the MCDU loaded. It should have kept everything loaded. But something got messed up, because the jet bridge pulled back and the door shut. So I don't know what happened there, but either way. Are you on arrival now? Because there is this Airbus. Uh-oh. Am I? Hopefully it's not me. Yeah, I'm on arrival. I'm behind you guys. I think there's two up there. Look at that conga line going in. That's awesome. Love to see that. We haven't even spent any time outside today. That's right. We're going for max realism on this stream, man. Try Presidente beer in Santo Domingo? Mr. Santana, I'm going to try that. I will do that indeed. Would you consider this an actual study level simulation? So I'm going to answer that. I'm going to discuss that thoroughly tonight on the podcast on the Blue Experience. So let me just take a quick look. Let me see if it's already been scheduled. I'm going to take a quick look here. Give me a second. But it should be tonight at 6 Eastern. Barring anything different, I don't see it scheduled there. Let me just make sure I don't have anything in Discord from XP or Blue. But tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern is what I'm saying. Make sure you tune in to either Blue Games channel on YouTube, or you tune into XP72, because they host the Blue Games, the Blue Experience podcast, and I'm going to talk about that specifically tonight. That's a very interesting topic that you bring up, and I want to express my opinion on that. And Blue Games, I was listening to one of his streams the other day, and he brought up a good point of why he thinks it's not study level. But we'll talk about that tonight. I hope you all tune in. It'll be a great show. I'll be headed there right after this stream is done. All right, we're out of transition altitude. Remember, we set our altimeter 29908 once, twice, and I did not sync it, so Phantoms will be switched over to 29908 as well. And he should have VOR up. Now, there's not really any terrain, but why waste it? Terrain mode on ND just for a... Why not? We're at 17.7. Let's go ahead and get the seatbelt sign on. At this point, coming out of 18,000 feet, you'd probably go ahead and turn off or put your headsets back on. Once you get out of that high 20s, low 20s, the wind noise starts to pick up and get a little bit loud, so it's kind of hard to hear over the speaker. So that's when you go headsets on. I don't know about that one, Mike. Paint Shop Pro, I don't know. I don't have an answer for you there. Yeah, you asked Blue the same. We'll check. Tonight, I think we will be able to. I think tonight we can answer that. We'll put that question to bed tonight. What's up, Mr. Spotter? Says good evening from Gibraltar. Once I double the RAM on my PC, I'll definitely buy the Fenix. Excellent. I think you'll be very happy with it. I really don't. I mean, there's nothing. I don't want to say I don't say anything bad, but I mean, I really can't. I mean. The airplane is just so well done. Obviously, it takes a little bit more processing power. That's where you get a lot of your performance limitations. I mean, my CPU cooks on this. I switched everything to render through the GPU. It seems to have alleviated the problem, but it's a very good. And for the price, I mean, you can't beat it. I mean, you really can't. This airplane is a true benchmark in simulation. I don't think anybody's holding up ahead. I guess I should turn the radio back on. I have the radio off there. Radio's back on. They're all going to be going in. We're going to be doing the ARC. Cancun traffic, Spirit Wings 982 at a 15.3 over Elitas. Setting up for the ILS DME 2, 12 left. We'll be joining the ARC at 11 miles from Cancun. All right, so the other thing I noticed is that this Econ descent window, so this is what this is called. You got a magenta line here at 255 and a magenta line, can't really see it, at 230. This is the Econ descent window, and the target speed is 250 knots. The real airplane typically does not drop to the bottom of the Econ descent window every time. I don't know why this does it. I don't know if this is just a VNAV bug or something that's going on here, just how they have a program. Not truly realistic behavior. But the interesting thing is, once we go to FMS2, this Econ descent window goes away completely. So you don't even have this anymore. And you'll get a little latching icon right here on the vertical descent donut. So I find it interesting. I don't know why it keeps doing this. I'm sure there's a reason. I haven't been able to figure it out yet, but that's something that does not seem correct, because it seems like on every VNAV it always dives from the bottom of the Econ window, which that would be incorrect. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and select speed now. We're just going to go select speed. I'm going to do 250.
Traffic is 15.
Here we're in speed mode, so what do the engines do? The engines will thrust up because we're on speed mode. It's going to honor the speed. If you were in open descent, the aircraft would have pitched down to honor the descent, the open descent. But because we're in speed, when you change the speed knob, you're going to get a thrust input there. You're going to get a thrust up. So just another live and die by the FMA.
Traffic, Spirit Wings 317 over Atmos at 13.8. Going to be setting up for the ILS DME 4, runway 12 left, Cancun.
Everyone's doing the ILS DME 4 like they should. I'm the oddball. Isn't the speed low a good thing? You know what? It's not a bad thing, Gruden. It's not a bad thing. I'm just saying, I was just pointing it out that it's not not very realistic. But yes, it essentially, when that happens in real life, it means the aircraft is below profile. It's below profile enough to where it can't shallow out the descent anymore because it's already at the bottom of the descent window. And the opposite would be true if you were high on profile. If you're high on profile, then the airplane's going to be constantly trying to give you more vertical speed, so it's going to be running the top of the econ descent window, which then that's also a problem. So it's not, not necessarily good or bad either way. I just find it interesting that in this particular simulation, it's always going to the bottom of the window. I don't know what's driving that, but just thought I'd point it out. All right, seatbelts on. We're ready to go through 10,000 feet here. 10,000 feet. We're just going to go ahead and activate and confirm the approach phase at this point. Our VAP is 140. What were the winds? 060 at 13. A little bit of a crosswind coming in. So I did show... Blue Mac, you might be onto something with the engine tuning. I want to show you guys this real quick here. So configuration, controls. I've changed something on my rudder here because I'm trying to figure out the rudder on the ground is, in some scenarios, it's way too sensitive. In other scenarios, it's not sensitive enough and the airplane drives off into the grass. My most common scenario that I ran into was the rudder was too sensitive. So I'm trying a null zone here in the MCDU, not in the flight sim settings, not in the settings in the main Microsoft, but in your MCDU, I've put a null zone of 10 on my rudder pedals. In Microsoft settings, I have a 20% curve. So I've got a 20% curve and a 10% null zone here, and it seemed to work out a little bit better, but what I think is happening, the problem is on the ground. It doesn't really know what is the priority. Is it the rudder or is it the nose wheel steering? And I think that's a sim limitation, because I noticed the same with I noticed the same exact thing with the PMDG. So these guys are probably all doing 230 knots. So I'm going to go ahead and this is going to mess with our vertical descent here. I'm going to go 230 on the selected speed because I think everyone else is doing 230. And we'll go ahead and crack the speed brake. I'm going to get flight recorder ready.
And JetBlue 1495 from 0 2.
Alright, recorder is ready, so we'll be able to analyze that. You're at 220 per the start? Alright, Douglas.
95.
Good job, man. I'm going to go ahead and I'll come back.
Yeah, you need us to speed up any?
Look at that. Look at that one. It's a little ominous.
Traffic in front, 3.5 miles.
Yeah, we're the traffic in front.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to slow her up down to 180 right now.
Alright, everyone's slowed up. I'm going to go 210.
Right now we'll hold this until we bounce really calm.
Alright, copy that.
Alright, so everyone is slowing up. I'm actually going to set 180. We might give ourselves delay vectors. I'm going to set 180 here in the window. We're VFE next minus 10. At that point, we'll extend flaps 1, which we are. Let's go ahead and drop the slats out. Look at that coming in over the islands. That is awesome. Yeah, that is awesome. Hotel zone. I mean, this is exactly what Cancun looks like. Let's take a look at the Cancun. Let's take a look at the hotels over there. I can't get enough of that sound and idle is so good up here in this. Just wish they gave us an option to toggle it. All right, we're pretty much cutting everybody off. So let's go ahead and give ourselves delay vectors. We need to get a speed brake out. So I'm going to go ahead and dial in a heading of 300. And then we're going to go open descent. Thrust idle, open descent, heading. We're going to slow to 180. I'm going to draw myself a line off of the Cancun 11. So we're going to go direct to Cancun 11, radial in 059. Ooh, that's correct because it's not the proper course. 126, so it'd be 306. Let me put 306. There we go, and we'll insert that. We'll draw a line, hit heading, there's VFE next -10. At that point, we'll extend flaps 2. We'll go ahead and stow the speed brakes.
Man, Cancun traffic, American 1157, get ready to taxi runway 12 right via Echo 3, Charlie 9, Cancun.
Cancun traffic, Spear Wings 982. We're going to extend our down, and we'll let you guys, we'll go in. I think we got ahead of you on the arc. So we're 3,000, we'll extend downwind, and we'll turn inbound after that last guy makes his turn. Alright, so I don't know why these guys are going out so far. Oh, it's probably the old Star.
Roger, I'll keep the speed up for you.
Roger that. We're doing 180 knots. Alright, so coming into Cancun, this is very typical weather patterns. You get these low cumulus clouds, a little bit of light rain every now and then. Speed out Star, we're on downwind. Things are looking good.
Traffic for 1522, left turn, ride for left base for 125, Spear Wings, traffic, sorry, Cancun traffic.
So he's on left downwind. That looks so real. Here we go. See, we're starting to hit that turbulence because we're in this. It can get very bumpy down here. You're not massive thunderstorms, but just enough to create a little bit of rain and some rough rides. Is it considered more efficient for fuel and noise emissions as far as? Oh, you're talking about the speed brake? Man, you can't fly in the U.S. without using the speed brake. I don't care how good you are. The traffic, the amount of traffic and non-standard vectoring that you get in the U.S., it'd be impossible to fly without a speed brake. Europe, you're pretty much getting spoon fed a lot of the stuff. You're on the arrival and you fly the arrival. I mean, everyone's taking these finals way out. We're going 15-mile final. That's right, we got the gas for it. We're going to just stay on this heading. We're 3,000. Look at that.
And Cancun traffic, Fairway 1522, now joining your 20-mile final.
You taught scuba in Cancun for 15 years? That's awesome, man. I'm actually getting, I think the wife and I were going to head down here pretty soon. I just want to go down here for like 2 days. I don't care if it's the most touristic hotel. I just want to go to a super easy hotel that has nice transportation to and from the airport and all inclusive. Because I don't want to. That's just what I want for 2 days. I don't care if it's the best quality food or drinks. I just want to go there and just forget about everything. Leave the kids with the grandparents or something. I'm trying to spot these guys out here, but can't quite see it. But man, this looks so realistic. Every time I fly in here, I'm always looking down for like just little individual houses to see what's going on. Man, y'all are killing me with this 20-mile final.
You and me both. It's the ILS for taking them all the way out.
Yeah, but you don't have to fly all the way out. Was that the Royalton Suites 2019? Oh yeah.
Don't worry, we're doing 220.
Blueberry, exactly.
1495 turn final, 12 left.
Alright, so JetBlue's turn and final.
Number 2.
If you want to go to Rida currently, I'll slow it way back for you.
Let me see where RID is. RID, is it DUG? Oh yeah, there's RID there. That's fine. That's fine. We'll just we'll continue out. We'll let you guys go in. We'll erase that.
Think Cancun traffic still on 2 not 10 miles out.
You used to live in the area right here, Tony? I've always wondered what's down here, because it looks very vast and like there's not much. Every now and then you'll see a house or a hut down there in the trees. Alright, let's go ahead and start our turn. Cancun traffic. Spirit wings 982. Turn at left base, 3,000 feet. 12 left Cancun. Alright, so we're going to extend it out. See, the sounds down here are great, but if I were to go with the outside view right now, you guys would go deaf. Mayan villages? Exactly. If the METAR comes out before you land, do you have to put the fresh data in the MCDU? It depends on how different the change is. I mean, you remember, it's aviate first. If it's no significant change, there's no sense in going heads down and plugging away at the box when you're at 1,000 feet, right? So it's all just common sense. It's all common sense. Typically, when there's a altimeter change or something significant like that, ATC will come on and they'll actually tell you ATIS information, Bravo is now current. Winds this, temperature this. And if you got a good FO, if you're the pilot flying, FO will come down there. He'll just throw in the updated weather on the box. All right, so we're holding 3,000, 180 knots.
Okay.
I do need to turn the sim down a little bit, turn VATSIM up a little bit. Chris Stuper, right now, fingers crossed, everything is looking good. Right now, everything is looking good. Cancun traffic, Spirit wings 982, turn in final. We're at 25 miles out, 3,000, join in final, 12 left Cancun. All right, so let's go ahead and turn left now. We'll join on a heading of 180, and we'll go approach AP2. Oh, I never did get the lights. These would have been on through 10,000. That comes on. Cat 3 dual, autopilot 1+2, glide slope blue, alope blue. In and out of the clouds, temperature is 26°. No need to turn on the engine anti-ice. I use FS flight recorder. How far do you pick up the ILS, Benny? You can pick it up outside of like 30 miles. The aircraft has a tendency to hunt, so if I'm outside of 30, like LA is notorious for this, I tend to just leave the aircraft in nav mode until I get there. Now this should be interesting. If I mash this, it should give me an intercept. Look at that. So that is kind of what I would do. So now I'm in nav. Do you see that? That is so cool. That is proper simulation. Now if I pull heading, it should re-extend. Look at that. But now I've just cleared out my approach. So I'm going to re-nav it. We're going to go nav. So we're back to nav is blue. And we're just going to intercept from here, from this point. And that guy is really close. So I'm going to go ahead and slow to 160. Or 170. We're gonna
JetBlue 4295, 7 mile final, 12 left. We're gonna keep the speed up, 180 till 4.
And who's just about to join the final and at Cancun right now? This guy here. See nav?
Spirit wing 719. We're on final for 12, right? So Spirit wing 12, good.
Awesome. Okay, thanks. Cancun traffic, Spirit wings 982, 3,000 feet. We just joined final at 22 miles, 3,000 inbound, 12 left Cancun. All right, so now that we're back on it, 22 miles, I'll leave it in nav mode here, but let's go ahead and re-clear us. So we'll redo it. We'll go approach AP2.
317, 13 mile final.
So we got lope blue, lope captured, glide slope is armed, it's blue. And now we're back on it. So that is really cool to see that. I never tested that before. But yeah, if you draw the line, if you mash the heading in, it'll give you an intercept point, and you keep it in nav mode if you're outside of 30 miles, or really even outside of 20 miles, the airplane can hunt a little bit. But Cancun isn't that bad. Cancun actually has a pretty strong localizer signal, and I've tracked it from outside of 20 before, just fine. But okay, where we are glide slope blue, loc is captured, loc is blue. Let's go ahead and put our lights into takeoff. And we will start the recording as soon as we start down. I don't know why I got this big white square out here. It's making me a little bit nervous. I did a pre-download of the Cancun area a long time ago, and I hope it's not going to mess me up here.
Yeah,
12 left is the newer runway? Yeah. I remember when they had 12 left. Well, 12 left was under construction there for a long time. Everybody was using 12 right, but now we're pretty much back to 12 left.
JetBlue 1495, 2 mile final.
I'm gonna go 180 now. Since that guy is going to 12 right, that's awesome. Man, what a conga line. Nice work slotting yourselves in, guys. Yeah, that was a good job. Everyone slotted in just perfectly. Kenny, what's going on, man? Hope all is well. Hope you're enjoying the bird. Kid named Kenny, I can't stop flying it, man. There's something about this airplane that I'll go to work, I'll fly the airplane for 4 days in real life, and I come home, and the first thing I want to do is fly this airplane. I don't know why that is. There's something special about the captivating experience that you get in this airplane. The whole thing. I'm talking about from the EFB to the systems modeling to the actual visual aspect of the airplane. There's something about it that I don't know. I just can't stop flying. I'll go on the road. I'll fly a trip. As soon as I get to the hotel, I'm looking for streamers flying the Fenix 320. It's just, I don't know. And I haven't felt that way about every Airbus that's come on the market. I'll tell you that. I mean, there have been times where I come back from a 4-day trip. Last thing I want to do is touch an Airbus. But for some reason, this whole experience you get with a Fenix is very good. It really is.
Good traffic, 01908 is on 2.5 mile final, 12 left. King
You did a hold to avoid us? Thank you, John. Appreciate it, man. All right, we're at 13 miles. All right, remember, we're already at flaps 2, 180 knots, 2,000 feet above touchdown zone. We'll manage speed. So I'm going to show you, we're not going to slow down until we hit 2,000 feet above touchdown. So at 2,100 feet, we will hit the managed speed and we'll be stable. Let's go ahead and start the recording. Let's go into tiller cam. I hope tiller cam comes up. If there's anything wrong, let me know. I can't see it.
Traffic, Fairwings 317 on a 5-mile final.
Anthony, welcome to Commercial Pilots, sir. Exclamation point, welcome. Thank you so much for joining the channel. Glad to have you on board, man.
All right, JetBlue 1495 is clear, 12 left.
Cancun traffic, Speedwings 982, 10-mile final, 12 left. All right, there's Glide Slope Star growing out to descent. 3,000 is blue. But Teal, thank you so much for joining the channel, man. Huge help. Love the support. You guys are awesome. Looks like we got a little bit of weather over the field there. Not too bad. Our glide slope is now captured. Remember, 2,100 feet. We're going to manage and then go here down. We had PMDG 737 Stream Leak. Looks like we have Fenix 320 month. It's going to be hard to get out of it, man. Robinson, it's going to be hard to get out of this Fenix, I tell you that.
2,500.
Radio altimeter is alive. Starting to see 12 left right there. There's somebody landing on 12 right. I thought I saw him for a second. All right, getting ready to manage up. All right, remember 2,100 on our barometric altitude. We're going to push for managed speed, gear down, arm the speed brakes. I thought we had a speed brake failure there. Something with my binding is a little off. VFE next minus 10 flaps 3. And VFE next minus 10 flaps 4.
317, 2-mile final, runway 12 left, Kinkit.
Flaps full, we are looking good. Let's go ahead and hand fly this sucker down, shall we? We'll leave the flight directors on. And we got a little rocked around here. Let's go autopilot off. Cancun traffic, Speedwings 982, short final, 12 left, Cancun. Not really short final, we're 6 miles, but semantics. All right, we're on speed. Ground speed mini is working there a little bit. You can see our V-app speed is a little bit higher than our program, but that's because ground speed mini is doing it properly. This is going to blend off here to our proper 139 as we get closer to the ground. Oh man, that looks so real. I can't tell you how real this looks. Definitely getting blown around a little bit.
1,000.
Stable, clear to land. Cabin crew, landing checklist, cabin crew advised, auto thrust speed, ECAM memo, landing all green. Landing checklist is completed. Now we're going to see if I'm going to try my best to stay on this slope. I don't know if it's some airports it's weird, but I haven't figured out what's going on with glide slopes in Microsoft. Hopefully this one's on it. It looks like it is. This one seems to be correct as of right now. 2 whites, 2 reds, barely making out the pappies now. Nice glare. Need some sunglasses.
Can't get traffic, Fenix 317, clear 1-2 left.
Alright.
Can't get.
He's clear of the traffic, or he's clear of the runway. This is a nice scenery. Just how they have the trees mowed down there with the rabbit lights. It's exactly how it is. That's really cool how the scenery developer was able to do that. That's awesome. Damn, it is getting some gusty winds here. I hear those engines working.
$100.
Easy.
50, 40, 30, 20, retard. 5.
Ooh, floater out. Fly the nose down. It's hot outside. Don't touch the brakes. Let the reverser slow the airplane down. Coming up to 70 knots. Go to idle reverse. Look at that. Now I can touch the brakes gently. Our brakes are going to be nice and cool. Go ahead and make sure it's all stowed. We'll clear the runway. 36 knots. I'd like to slow down a little bit more. All right, all my members in chat, I'm going to need a Coati-Mundi salute here as we take the infamous Coati-Mundi Bridge. Cross the hold short line here. And we'll go ahead and stop recording. Cancun traffic experiments 982, clear 12 left, taxi to the ramp, Cancun. All right, we're clear. Let's go ahead and stow it. We'll go ahead and bring the flaps up. 20 knots. There is a nice hill here in real life. I'm going to leave the lights on. Everyone's going to be upset. I haven't turned my lights off, but I'm leaving them on for replay, so we're leaving the lights on. Here it is.
Right.
Everybody pay respects. Coati-Mundi salutes in chat. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's a members-only podcast. I talked about a pretty hairy situation in Cancun I went through, and the Coati-Mundi was right here. Coati-Mundi salute, baby. Love it.
1795, 10 mile final.
Love the salutes. You guys are awesome. What time did our 8 cars count us as landing? So for vSprit SOPs, we do a single engine taxi. You get bonus points. It looks like we landed at 1928Z. We got to do a 3-minute cooldown. So at 31, we can actually shut down engine 2. If you shut down too early, just like in real life, you'll get no bonus points. I mean, you don't get bonus points in real life, but you got to wait for the engine to cool down. It's always hard coming down this hill. You gotta, not supposed to ride the brakes, but almost have to coming down this hill in real life. Where's everybody parking today? We got the Americants over there. We got the Spiritual Wings over there. I don't know who that is. I missed that turn off, so I'll go to the next one. I'm gonna go ahead and we'll come around the ramp this way. That way we get extra points. We gotta at least get our single engine cooldown so we get some extra points. I need a water cannon salute mod for Microsoft. That would be pretty cool, actually, Jeff. I did go to college, Alex. I did, yes. All right, coming around the mountain when she comes. Love this airport here. These guys, this Mako Sim, awesome job. All right, I'm gonna go park next to Mr. Vodka. Team Vodka's over there in the jet blue. Looks like there's room for one more Spiritual Wing. These guys in Cancun, shout out to the Cancun airport workers. They are some of the best in the biz. You know, working at the airport in Cancun is not just like any other job. I think that's it's actually really sought after because they are always super motivated. They're super helpful. And they work very, very hard. Love coming into Cancun. Alright, we'll park next to this blueberry here. Looks like he's on 43. I hope I don't get docked for lights in this. Alright, we'll go yellow electric pump on. Confirm. Confirm engine 2. Confirm. This is going to probably mess with our replay, but we're going to try it. Oh, I ran out of juice. Stupid Microsoft bug when you move the view around. This is not good. Left turn in an operating engine can be challenging. I won't be docked for lights. Excellent, Pete Monitor, because I left them all on for replay. And we actually have to shut the engine down for our vSprit. So I'm going to shut down, and then we'll try to do a state load and do the replay. I think it'll work out. Look at that, right on the line. I think A320 is the first one. Erp! Man, that came up quick. We erped it. Brake set.
That's a little far.
Let's go back to Phoenix. We're going to use GPU power. GPU is hooked up. All right. And verify we have electrical power here.
Traffic Southwest 828. The 11 DME.
Number 1 is coming down.
That was a Southwest stop right there.
Paul, he says, thanks for the great stream. Time for a bourbon. Thank you, sir. I'm going to be sipping on some bourbon tonight on the Blue Experience podcast. I hope to see everybody there. All right, we're spooling down. Let's see, take a look at VAMSys. The flight may now be ended. Excellent. So we'll go ahead and file this PIREP for our vSprit. Remember, these guys are awesome. Check them out. The link is in the description. All right, so our vSprit stuff is done. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to dismiss this. I'm going to go panel states. We're just going to go into the ready mode. We're going to activate it. So we should have our engines spooled up, and then we're going to watch the replay. I'm going to start the engines, deploy the flaps, and then we're going to watch the replay. Hayden, I'm glad you liked it, man. Exclamation point wing view, Josh. Pete Munter, I submitted it. I got it submitted, man. I got her submitted. I learned that lesson. All right, so they are on. Let's extend flaps to full. Actually, you know what? I think they were at position 2, but that's fine. Exclamation point throttle will give you all the ops.
1795 vacated 12 left via Alpha 3.
Oh, I was going to say we could watch someone land on but it's right. Let's go ahead and do this. All right. Everybody's on. We never did a cabin tour. Let's go ahead and disconnect from VATSIM. Let's watch the replay. And just like that, we got engines running, folks. All right, so if you use FS Recorder like I do, you can shut down at the gate, but you just have to do a panel state to active mode before you start the replay. Awesome. Yeah, check out that wing view. That'll get you all set up, Josh. Hayden, I'm glad you enjoyed the content, man. Jeff says, great stream, still not as epic as the 7.2 Hurricane. Jeff, you're absolutely right, man. That 727 flight in the Hurricane into Cancun, all round gauge. We had to do a hold to an arc. Broke out at minimums. You're absolutely right. One of the most epic streams. Thank you. Anthony, so this replay system works, though. So what I've just discovered is you can shut down at the gate and then just do an active, set everything back up when you're ready to start your replay, as long as you're recording it. That's if you have Flight Recorder. That's what I use. I use Flight Recorder for replay, and this is my first time trying this. I normally never shut down, but apparently if I shut down, and look, everything is synced up just fine. I mean, cabin pressure is jacked up, but that's fine. Let's enjoy the replay here. Oh, I still have you in tiller cam, guys. Sorry, I need to put you in replay mode. Totally forgot, so I had it in performance mode. Guys, I'm going to leave you with a couple of these replays. We'll look at the landing. Actually, you know what? Let's hold off on the sail just for a second. We're going to watch one touchdown. I like to critique the touchdown. A little bit of a float, and I think this floated. So my gut feeling when you say, how does this airplane fly to the real thing? How does it fly? I think that it flies and lands like a sharkleted 320. I really feel like the ground effect that's modeled right now is more of a sharklet 320. You get a little bit more cushion, you get a little bit more float. These classic 320s don't really float all that much, so I hope that can be tweaked in the future, but it does seem to float a tad like you were to have sharklets on. Now, another reason for getting a float here is if you notice we had a 15 knots right down the pipe. That extra 15 knots coming over the wing, that's going to give you a little bit of extra lift, a little extra cushion. Look at this flap. Look at this flap wiggle. Oh my gosh, that looks amazing. Guys, we have more likes than viewers already. This is like the third stream in a row that's happened. Thank you so much for that. Hit the like button for me if you haven't. Hit the like button for Flap Shake. That's one of my favorite things to look at. But, oh yeah, look at that. There's Flap Fool coming out. But yeah, having a headwind right down the pipe is going to give you a little bit more float. You got to be careful of that. Thank you, Scott. We'll watch one touchdown with you, and then I'll get the music playing, and then I'm going to get out of here. I'll let you guys watch probably 2 or 3 replays because the replays in Microsoft are absolutely awesome. I feel like I'm a passenger just sitting here. What time am I on with Blue? It should be 6 Eastern, Anthony. Barring something different, it should be 6 Eastern. I didn't see anything posted yet. Hopefully they'll get that up. But 6 Eastern, we shall be live. You just bounced it, Flight Sim Guy? It happens, man. It happens. Text trading, you'd stay till the end. Thank you, man. Pete Monitor says, thanks for the vSprit stream. Anytime, Pete Monitor. I know I've been slacking on the vSprit stuff, but now that we got the Airbus going, you just got to get that 737-600 Piedmont, and we're all good to go, man. But definitely, guys, if you're interested in joining a VA that's got some SOPs, they're not super hardcore on your requirements on how much you have to fly. You can just, if you want to do a flight, you can do a flight with them. They make it really easy. All the information is there. Great guys run the VA, and check them out in the description of vSprit. All right, here we go. We're coming down. A little bit of aileron correction. Oh, this looks so real coming in through the trees like that. We're going into the flare. Here's that float. Yeah, it's just a little bit of headwind. Not bad. I kind of milked it. I'm not going to lie. I was milking it. I really wanted to get a nice one. All right, let's take a look from outside. Let's pause it. Let's rewind it. Let's see how we did. Now I think the spoilers will stay up. Yeah. I like that rudder sensitivity. Wow, that's really loud. Ooh. Yeah, that's that wind. So I started that flare. Nice job on the center line. I started that flare, and that headwind was just enough to get some extra float in there. Just enough to get some extra float. We'll go ahead and resume. Watch a couple more. But that's going to be it for me. There we go. XP's in chat. Been talking about you all stream, man. I can't wait for it. I got a brand new bottle of Woodford. I'm going to be cracking open tonight. 6 p.m. Eastern. V1 on the podcast. Posting it up shortly. Make sure you guys check it out. XP72 Blue Games, the Blue Experience podcast. Honored to be asked to come back and do another podcast with them. So that'll be on 6 p.m. Eastern. I'll be there. I hope you are there. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the stream. I hope maybe you learned something about equal time points or lateral offsets, why we do Equi-time point modification, and hopefully maybe built up a little bit of confidence in flying with some random failures on. Remember, the ECAM is going to tell you what to do. There's nothing to be worried about. Fly the airplane first, aviate, navigate, communicate, and that's going to be a wrap. Guys, I don't know when I will be streaming next. I don't think it will be tomorrow. I think I'm headed out of here for the next few days. I got to double check, but I hope you enjoyed today's stream. So until next time, it could be a couple days. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Until the next time we meet, stay safe, stay healthy. I'm V1. See ya! Oh, and thank you for everybody that flew along on that flight. You guys did absolutely awesome coordinating and getting in there. We didn't have any ATC, but everybody coordinated perfectly. You guys are awesome. Thank you for doing that. Thanks for flying along with me. Definitely adds to the immersion and the experience. For real, I'm V1. Stay safe, stay healthy. See ya!